Y'all's the hate on all of my moves, but now niggas on it. Y'all used to bait me on me and my views, but now niggas on it. I used to tell them I'ma have me a show, but now niggas on it. Her homies on it. Your homies on it. Y'all's the hate on all of my moves, but now niggas on it. Y'all used to debate me on me and my views, but now niggas on it. I used to tell them I had me a show, but now niggas on it. Her homies on it. Your homies on it. Realest podcast.
What up, what up? We are back, the Realest podcast ever. What's the problem, Matt? What's going on?
Dan wanted to say action bad as shit.
I jumped his action.
He was about to set up.
My bad, Dan. You know what I'm saying? You can still do it. Fuck it. Let's just
Go ahead, Dan.
We all amongst friends here. You know what I'm saying? Act crazy and kick it, man. We are here today once again at the Frame Complex, 222 Market Street, and we are with a very special guest, somebody that I actually forged a relationship with over the last few months. Just been talking to a lot, paying attention to all of his different moves and everything that he's doing. I'm honestly a fan of his, somebody that I'm very proud to know. He has a lot of insight, a huge amount of talent, and he is a breadth of knowledge and wisdom that he's going to share with us here today. And he already let me know he ain't ducking no smoke. I want to let y'all know that it's orange juice in his cup. There is no vodka, no tequila, nothing in there. So anything that he says, he absolutely means it. He is not, it's not, what they call it, liquor. I don't have no liquid courage. Yeah, exactly. It's no liquid courage or nothing like that.
That was you were sipping on. I saw a thing today. The girl said, "As a man, why you drinking margaritas?" I'm like, damn.
First of all, everything is sassy.
I'm like, dog, you got to drink corn liquor. When you some
of that corn.
Yeah, moonshine.
Where they made this in the bathtub? All right, that's for me. Give me a cup of that.
The lowest you can go is Fred Sanford Ripple.
Yo.
Anything other than that, you sassy.
Or Sham Pipple.
Drinking. Is it breakfast?
Rest in peace, OJ, man. He used to have me take him to go get corn liquor. He's like, come on, young blood, we get corn liquor. We go to spot behind Allegheny. They was selling it in antifreeze jars.
Oh,
I'm like, yo, man. Like, yo, it's crazy.
Let me get some of that peak. Let me get that 82-ounce peak.
That's a good joke that most motherfuckers just ain't gonna get. Let me get
I
some
had
of
to buy
that.
antifreeze recently.
Let me get some of that peak.
All right, we're starting off crazy. Let me get to my intro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, really.
We know for these intros. Like I said, we amongst friends here, man. It's gonna be a little bit of a different show. Today's guest is a serial entrepreneur, multiple-time best-selling author, motivational speaker, and business coach specializing in organic business growth and mastering social media algorithms. Through his company, The Business Bully LLC has helped hundreds of small and mid-sized businesses reach their potential by making smart, calculated decisions that lead to massive profits and huge growth. His wealth of knowledge, experience, and expertise have landed him on The Breakfast Club, Ghetto Boys Reloaded, Earn Your Leisure, The Morning Hustle, Beehive TV, Gary V, Ebony Magazine, The Huffington Post, and countless other platforms. As a speaker, Dave has empowered over 1 million people from the stage, and he was the driving force behind the Rickey Smiley morning show, reaching national syndication and helping conceive an early version of Rickey's reality show. TRP Nation, give it up for the business bully himself, Mr. Dave Anderson. Claps, 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 Dan, claps.
God damn, Dan, you fast today, bro. You don't got to do nothing else, Dan.
That's it.
You get beside yourself.
You can get back to Monopoly Go or whatever. Get back to Monopoly Go or whatever the hell you doing, man. How are you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm absolutely honored and just pleased to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm a big fan of this show. Big fan of y'all.
Thank you so much, man. We're a big fan of you. And us connecting, it, one, made me aware of all of the dope things that you've done and are doing. And preparing for this interview, it made me research and go down the whole rabbit hole and understand everything that is like, you kind of got like your own universe, so to speak, where it's like you lived a lot of life, you've done a lot of different things. And, we were talking off camera and off mic, just about your inspiration and your motivation to just keep active and keep so sharp. Where does that come from?
Grandmother had Alzheimer's and dementia. My father got it when I was 17. He died when I was 24. And my dad was sharp. Like, my dad was in law enforcement, and what he did was classified. But he was the sharpest dude I knew. And I have a fear that I'm going to lose this. That's why I've written 22 books. That's why I'm constantly reading 2 books a day. That's why I'm coaching. That's why I'm pushing my limits. That's why I've done everything from cell gullers to professional wrestling, because I want to make sure that I have lived my life.
Right.
Just last year my brother passed. And sorry to hear that. Yeah, thank you. And if you had looked at him and looked at me, you'd have been like, oh, no, the fat boy's going all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I got my head together, I got my mind together. So for me to stay sharp is to constantly challenge myself. I don't want to be comfortable. When I see something that's making me comfortable, I get rid of it and I move on to something else. So that's just it for me, man. I want to constantly grow. I'm in a state of growth.
So,
I got a question. In that, you said everything from this to professional wrestling.
Correct.
Were you a professional wrestler?
I was.
Were you like the business bully? Like, was that?
No.
You know, like the Brooklyn Brawler.
That's hilarious. First of all,
come out with a briefcase.
What we're not going to do. What we're not going to do is disrespect the good name of the Brooklyn Brawler, because what people don't know is
He's the first person you fight.
He's the measuring stick. Nowadays, that measuring stick is the Miz, and the Miz is the only WWE two-time Grand Slam champion.
Right.
Now, to answer your question, I am a two-time North Carolina Wrestling Alliance heavyweight champion, four-time tag team champion. North Carolina Wrestling Alliance is now defunct, and my nerve damage got so bad I'd never got an opportunity to, do OVW the way I wanted to.
Got it.
So
Go through the power plant and all that.
Yeah, so no, I missed all of that. Johnny Lightning had trained me, and Shawn Michaels had trained him.
Yeah, Johnny Lightning. I saw in the documentary. Damn.
So I am an actual wrestler. Like, I manage wrestlers.
Right.
My love for that sport, and people don't understand, it's more than just getting out in a ring. It's theater. It's showmanship. It is.
We wrestling fans.
Yeah, super wrestling
We literally
fans.
said we're trying to put together a whole WrestleMania thing for next year when it comes to Philly.
We
like wrestling. I grew up on wrestling.
Let me know, man.
If this podcast don't work out, we putting Dan ass out. Like, seriously, something. Like,
listen, Yokozuna did the chocolate. It can happen.
The hookah boss.
Hookah boss.
3-time world heavyweight
Trending right now. Hookah boss.
blowing smoke in their eyes.
Oh! He's been sassy.
What's his signature move? Emphysema.
Oh my God! The deadly smoke! Dad, can you believe it? Back to humanity!
Can you imagine Dan come out on an Andre the Giant float with a big ass hookah?
I'm going to smoke you. It's time. Wait. It's time.
Yeah. That's hilarious, man. Yeah, that's crazy as hell. I always wonder how, because I never got to actually talk with someone who went through the whole gauntlet of going through because especially when we talk about the bigger wrestlers, they all seem to have gone to the same 4 places, the one in Texas, the one in Florida. It's the same shit over and over. And I always wondered how it goes for you to show up at he said the plant to make it to where you're this entity, and it just it's a crazy field to be.
I wasn't even looking for wrestling. I was doing nights in North Carolina. Johnny Lightning came through because he had, the NCAA at the time.
Right.
And he took one look at me. He said, "Kid, you ever wanted to wrestle?" I was like, "Yeah, but I can't wrestle." He was like, No. He was like, "What time do you have to be to work?" I'm like, 5. He was like, "Can you give me from 10 to 3? I was like, to be a pro wrestler? He was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Bet." So every day I was at his school.
Yeah.
Training, first 6 weeks I learned how to, put together the ring, and then it was just take a bump, take a bump, take a bump, take a bump.
Yo, people when you really get into the throes of wrestling, that's the hardest shit.
Because it doesn't fucking stop hurting. Bumps hurt.
Yeah. We went to a wrestling expo because my uncle, shout out my Uncle Frankie, he was super into wrestling, so he had me into it as a kid. And they had a ring there, and part of one of the events was having people, regular people from the crowd, get in and run the ropes. And running and bouncing off the ropes. And it seems easy when you watch The Rock, Edge, all that. Yo, they had athletes, basketball, volleyball players get in the ring. And I'm talking about everybody looked like smokers. It's hard to run and throw yourself off them ropes. Mm-hmm. And then this one old white guy got in. He was a 55-year-old man, but he trained in wrestling for 25 years. And he looked like Victor Maitland from Beverly Hills Cop. My man ran them ropes better than everybody out there. They was cheering this motherfucker. It's yo, you don't realize just how hard that shit is. Wrestling is crazy as hell.
Yeah, and there's so much skill attached to it that I think the general public, people that aren't fans and aren't, research oriented around the world and stuff like that, don't have the understanding of how much skill, how much prep, how much endurance, mental fortitude and all of that goes into prepping. Even just on it, like you said, even on the indie circuit, it still takes a tremendous amount of work.
It's a lot of work, man.
Oh, that's very interesting.
I loved it. I love the business. I'm excited every single day. I got a phenomenal client, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. It's amazing the stuff he does with kids and the stuff that we're doing with his site. We're about to launch a brand new show for him.
Okay.
And just he's just an amazing dude, man. And when you understand how people get inspired by this everything that we do, it changes everything for you. So it gives you a lot of perspective. So yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah, no, that's dope. You're the first person we've had on here connected to wrestling. We got to put you on the WrestleMania list.
It's only up from here now. You've literally got the bottom of the barrel. Because people are like, North Carolina Wrestling Alliance, 404 not found.
Yeah, straight up. That's funny as hell.
So, as I alluded to in the intro, you lived a lot of different lives. You occupy a lot of different space. What's your daily motivation to do so much and seek out new opportunities in terms of like business and management and radio and all of this different stuff that you do?
When I die, no one's going to have a fish fry for me. You know what I'm saying? I got a wife. I got 2 daughters. No one's going to have a fish fry for me.
Yeah, that's
ain't gonna be none of that. Like,
that's one of those slow burners.
Like, that was hard.
I look at a lot of my quote unquote contemporaries who look like me, and a lot of them don't think beyond right now. They don't think beyond the last name. I look at what Dr. Wayne Dyer did. I look at what Carnegie did. I look at what Tony Robbins is doing. And when I die, there's books that'll be released that I've already written. There's the opportunity to license my name, my image, my likeness, my sales protocols and strategies and curricula. That for me is one of the main things. I want to make sure that my daughters are provided for, you know, because if I take care of them in life, I ought to be able to take care of them in death, because we all know, like, so there's a lot of dudes out there that ain't, you know what I mean? So I'm going to make sure that they don't ever have to rely on, you know, anything other than the person that brought them in the world.
That point that you made wasn't on my list, but I want to talk about that. Sure. The business of death, and the fact that a lot of our people don't prepare and execute that
or understand
the right way,
what goes on,
and understand that you can leave, one, a legacy, and then 2, a financial windfall for your family, to make it easier on them by you no longer being here, the pain, the grief, and all of that. But here's XYZ amount of capital to get you started to be able to get out your dreams and do what the fuck you want to do.
Yeah. 2 things. My mom was a teacher, right? My mom's almost 78 years old. She's retired in Arizona, living her and my father's dream. My dad was a cop, for lack of a better term. Just regular everyday people.
Yeah.
Right? My father had amassed $1.2 million in assets and cash before Alzheimer's hit, and I won't get into what happens when you're a minor and other people come and steward over that and what I wound up with. But the thing of it is, we are told in the black community that, oh, you think you better. You think you got a silver spoon in your mouth. You should want to be a trust fund baby, you dumb fucking cluck. That is the object of the game. You are so big on talking about how much you own, but you don't understand ownership comes with taxes, numbnuts. You might want to start putting some things in a trust. And let's take slavery off the table. Right. Let's take away the Industrial Revolution. One of the main ways that white folks have made money in this country is instant generational wealth through whole life insurance policies. But we hear that, and we're like, I'm not spending a bunch of money for somebody else to live. Then you're an idiot and you're playing for your first name. And too many of us do
I literally heard someone say that one time, like, well, I'm spending all this money every month just to not enjoy it when I die. And I'm just like, damn, man,
like,
started from the bottom.
Like, where we at? We at scratch now, and we going back to scratch. When you check,
where's scratch?
Why do you think so many black people are infatuated with, like, getting it out the mud and taking this sense of pride attached to, like, ain't nobody give me nothing? Like,
they want to do Ben's Givens free stuff. What do you mean?
Like, where does that shit come from?
So let me ask you something. What's the best way to control somebody?
Money.
Wrong.
What?
Programming.
Bingo. So if I own the means of production, if I own your media, if I own your culture, if I own your music, I can own your mind. And you never have to concern yourself with what someone will think if you already program it. You don't have to worry about what they'll do. You see what I'm saying? And if I am telling you that it's admirable to get it out the mud, start from the bottom, this, that, and the third, and you believe that dumb shit, you believe that you got to get it yourself, and the other half of you is talking about how strong and independent they are, then there's absolutely no time for synergy or unity. If there's no time for synergy or unity, you can never come up as a people. And if you never come up as a people, you can never dominate. If you never dominate, you're never a threat.
You know what's crazy is when I was young, I remember Good Times, right? Being a show that we all loved, and we kind of just it was one of our shows. Sure. But then as I got older, I started watching it through like a different lens, and like it just always felt weird to me, some of the narratives that were pushed on the show. Then when I got to where I was like an adult and went back and read, and you understand like the writing that was going on behind the scenes with Norman Lear and them, and a lot of the agendas that they were pushing through these shows, and it's just like, oh, so I wasn't tripping that whole time. That's where that programming shit comes into play. That's deep as fuck.
Right, not to mention what they did to Eric Monty, and not to speak ill of the dead, but fuck Norman Lear. What they did to Eric Monty was horrible.
No, he created all of those shows. All them characters, all that shit. I told you, I read this whole thing. Like, Eric Monty created every character you can think of from these shows. And Norman Lear was just like, he don't got no paperwork? Give me that. Yeah, give me that.
And I mean, you got Jimmy Kimmel doing remakes, sitting there with old ass Norman Lear, and it's like, good and hell well that you didn't create this, right? And you just ran with it because you were the right guy with the right, what and how that goes. Connection. But everybody want to get
complexion
on
for the connection.
But the thing of it is, we don't control that. But so if you look at what Good Times actually is, it's Gilligan's Island in the projects. They never get off the island.
They never get off till some miracle shit pop off.
They have all of this stuff, the time to do all of these phenomenal things, but you can't fix a hole in a boat. No. But we got time to make radio out of coconuts. Yeah. Right. We got time for JJ to paint these phenomenal pieces of art where JJ one could go for $25,000.
He painted the whole bank.
Y'all still, he painted the whole bank. And he still broke.
Right. The bank owner didn't want to give him the bread. Right. James said, I'm going to stuff you in the night deposit box.
Thelma comes up on a ball player. He break his leg. Yeah. James finally found a good job. He get hit by a bus. Yeah. That's what they're trying to do. Everything is hopelessness. And then on the flip side, because the idea of somebody moving out of Archie Bunker's neighborhood who is not Archie Bunker, because Archie Bunker was poor white trash, was a black man who pulled himself up by his bootstraps, moved on up to the east side, got a deluxe apartment in the sky away from everybody else. Up here, you're down there, little niggas. Oh, yeah, and by the way, I'm going to act just like the white folks. I'm going to get me a black-ass maid. The black-ass maid going to sass me because she know I'm on some bullshit. But the thing of that is, we finally got a piece of the pie. How many people George bring with him?
Weezy. Barely.
And Weezy didn't want to go.
Yeah, real shit.
Weezy in real life was like, I'm on a hit show. I'm not what the hell are you talking about?
Yo.
They said, well, you don't have to leave, but Weezy Jefferson's going to be on there. Right. We're going to recast you like we should have did T'Challa. Like, so when they're doing all that and they're programming it into you, right? Go back 20 years and listen to the shit people were talking about in our music. Where we're talking about, I'm getting Bennigan's or your Lexus Jeeps and your Lincoln Jeeps, and like there was a limit.
We talked about this recently.
Now it's my box and artists, all the fancy shit. So it's once you attain a certain level, okay, then we're going to move the goalposts even further and make it even more unattainable. Then you get mad at the people who are trying to build you up because you've been fed shit in a crystal glass with whipped cream and a cherry on top. They call it chocolate mousse, and I'm telling you, this is shit. And you're like, Dave, you a hater. You know what the fuck you talking about. Why can't I just like the chocolate mousse that they're giving me? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it becomes hard because anytime somebody tries to tell you to rise above your station, you're telling them that they're elitist. You're telling them, oh, well, you must be a Donald Trump supporter. You're telling them all this whole other dumb shit when, I mean, for the past, 40 years, all black people were Donald Trump supporters, but that's a whole nother hour show.
Listen. When you listen to rap music from 91 to like
Trump was the homie.
Trump was the homie. Trump was the homie.
Man, I swear to God, here's the shit that kills me, right? And I'm not trying to get on no Trump.
Ain't that crazy? Trump was really the homie in rap.
Trump was the homie. People forget. Trump was helping people unionize. He was giving out low interest loans and then ripping up the repayment checks. Nobody talks about that. And
that's because he wasn't paying payments, but that's a whole
other hour show. That's called good business and you can do it. The thing of it is, so if you're calling Donald Trump racist, what you're saying is Michael Jackson was an idiot, Mike Tyson was an idiot, Magic Johnson was an idiot, all of these people, were idiots. And then, by the way, y'all remember when they pulled Arsenio Hall off the air, right? Mm-hmm. Who won the Celebrity Apprentice? Oh, that was Arsenio Hall. Who got him his show back? Donald Trump. Yeah. So it's like, which is it? Time to go to work, make the block bump, boys in the hood, call me black. So which is, or did they tell you he was a racist while Hillary Clinton was a Goldwater girl, right, who was a card-carrying segregationist racist, right? Bill Clinton was called Bubba, but he played a saxophone and ate fried chicken and told you he loved Aretha Franklin's big boobs, and y'all lost your damn minds. Do you see how easily you're manipulated by this stuff? Okay, cool. Some more OJ in a minute, but we good.
No problem. I'll get it up and hit it for you. Let me ask you this. And I know it's probably going to be one of the tougher questions that I asked you today.
All good. I love these.
If you had, because you're such an ambitious guy, if you had to boil your overall passion, what keeps you going? Your passion for business down to 2 or 3 things. What are they? Or some core principles?
I cannot defeat racism. I wish I could defeat racism. I can't. You know what I can do, though? I can show you that you can get off of this plantation and off of this struggle. Let me put it to you a different way. We know for a fact that the American education system is hot trash truck juice. We know this. Statistically, if you're 34th in reading comprehension and 27th in math, you suck.
You junk.
Yeah. You junk. You trash. So you can't be the greatest country in the world from an academic standpoint. So what are they actually teaching? How many stars are in the Ryan's belt?
I don't know.
3. Congratulations, you're not smarter than 5th grade. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I'm filling your time with nonsense that's not going to help you, and I am not teaching you things that will help you, then there's a problem. But if I can show you that you no longer need that piece of paper unless you're doing doctor, lawyer, engineer, architect, so on and so forth, and please keep your whatabouts to your goddamn self because I don't want to hear them shits. We know that there are exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, with EDX, with Khan Academy, with this Freedom Box, you can learn damn near anything you want to learn.
Yo, I watched triple bypass surgery on YouTube when I was bored as shit. and I watched it on YouTube, and I'm not saying I could do it, but I know where the incisions are.
You know the entry point.
Yeah, you see that ventricle right there? That shit. Oh, that artery is carotid as a motherfucker. But I think the main thing is I know that I can't provide freedom from racism, but I can help level the playing field so that we can have our own. We can do our own thing.
Yeah.
And when people say it's lonely at the top, it's lonely because most people don't believe that they deserve to be there or that there's
survivor's
any path
guilt
to get there. You know? And I'm telling you right now, man, the other part of that is a lot of my so-called peers are liars. This is an ebb and flow.
Let's do it.
Yeah, real shit.
Let's do it.
This is an ebb and flow situation. The realest thing I ever saw was a girl from Logan get on national television and said, this is how the greatest selling R&B group can make all these records, sell all these records, and be broke, right? I have a staff of 300 people. I'm the last one to get paid.
Right.
So sometimes it's feast or famine. I am not running around here with a G-Wagon because it's 6,000 pounds and you can rate it off. What the fuck?
Super depreciation.
Who is your accountant? You mewling Quim. You knuckle-dragging, mouth-breathing coon. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, you could do that, but you have to have the money in order to make that happen. And then most of us fail at infrastructure, but everybody is giving you their human highlight reel called Instagram, and they're not showing you their ugly. On my Instagram, you can go all the way back to 2012 and see when I was in a Hyundai Accent from a buy here, pay here, that they would shut off for $25 when I did not have it. You know, I believe that we gotta stop selling people the dream of entrepreneurship and give them the reality, and the reality tastes like cod liver oil. Mm-hmm. It's good for you, but you ain't gonna like the taste. Are you willing to give up that bi-weekly insult, you call it check, in order to support your dream? Most of us aren't. And that's the thing, because my peers love hitting a lick. That's why you always hear certain things. AOL keyword. Here's how you run the play. Yo, what you want to do is you want to take this card over here, and then when you're going to ask for this limit because you want to tell them that you make $175,000, and the truth of the matter is you're barely making $17,500 and you're on food stamps. But they ain't going to look into all that. Then you take that credit, and on the same day you go to 5 other credit unions. Then you go over to Navy Fed and you talk to Chuck. Now, Chuck is a homeboy, man. And then here I come like, hey, dog, that's not how you do that. I sound like the kid in the classroom when there's a substitute teacher like, hey, that's not what the homework's supposed to be, Mrs. Johnson. And now everybody mad at me.
Yeah, you sound like screeches on the chalkboard.
Right,
Scratches on the chalkboard.
I'm pissing in
you
your...
fucking up the narrative.
I'm pissing up your cereal.
There was a video I saw that you just randomly see shit and scroll or whatever. And it was like how financial experts be on Instagram. And the nigga came on the video. He said, all right, this is what you want to do. First things first, you wake up, start an LLC. You can brush your teeth after
Oh, my God.
That nigga said, first things first, start an LLC.
At the bare minimum, you got to start an LLC every day.
The moment you wake up, start an LLC. You can brush your teeth.
Listen, I have for you right now. I don't know if y'all know this or not. This entire arena is going to get their own LLC. I got a whole bunch of gift certificates right now from LegalZoom.org. Like, what? No, that's not like if you're running a play and you are not a quarterback or wide receiver. It's a little shady.
The connotation behind running a play is that it's a burnout. It's some flim flam to it, and it's a burnout, and it's not something that's repeatable.
Right.
And success is repeatable.
Yes.
Business scaling is repeatable. Entrepreneurship is repeatable if you have core competencies and understanding of what you're doing and you're not running plays.
Like Byron Allen with the Weather Channel don't feel like the play.
Yeah.
That's the play, man. You tell these niggas the time. What's the weather like? It don't feel like...
It's the most gangster shit I have ever seen. Because Byron Allen, and I got my issues with Byron Allen, but...
I think everybody does.
Here's what you have to do. T.D. Jakes famously said, eat the meat and discard the bones. You ain't gonna like everything about me. You ain't gonna like my delivery. I don't give a fuck. You be all right.
Kanye once famously said, I don't 100% agree with anybody, even myself.
That's it. And then Shakespeare says, second thoughts make liars of us all, meaning we have room to grow, and what we thought yesterday, we shouldn't think today. But the thing of it is, buying the Weather Channel is never going to go out of style. Right?
Yeah. It's nothing trendy about that.
But everybody looked at him like, this lame-ass dude, I don't like his interviews. His comedy is whack. He married to a white woman, and Comics Unleashed is the best thing he's ever done. But they didn't understand very quietly, very quickly, over a long period of time, he just grabbed something, chill. Grab something else, chill. Now he's with a conglomerate where he can make different types of moves. I don't give a fuck what you do in your personal life. I only care about what you're doing for our people, and to stand there and bring every single black person. He summoned them like he was Farrakhan in 92. He summoned everybody for those Griot Awards, up to and including The Rock.
Yeah.
Everybody showed up. Oprah showed up.
Yeah.
The end. That's power.
That's power.
Power is not, hey, look at my silk pajamas while I stand here and get a big-ass $1 million check for absolutely nothing because Puff doesn't have the money to give me. My bad. So, I'm not here for loud-ass gestures. So I saw people like, I never heard of you. Good, you weren't supposed to. I'm the guy you hear about later on after it's done. I don't make glaring announcements.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's one of those things, man. It's not always fun. It's not always sexy. I cry at least 2 times a month over some bullshit. There's something going on in one of my companies at all given times. And this economy is not fucking helping.
It's unforgiving.
Yeah, the last I'll say like 2017 to now, entrepreneurship, especially when it comes to like social media, has become very, very like Moulin Rouge. Like it's become very like very sexy. And remember Paul Mooney, sexy. Like that's how it's becoming. It's like we do it like this shit. Not like it don't be fun. It's like, you know,
like we had a situation, right?
Right.
I'll be super transparent. You my man. We had a situation back in September. We did our network announcement. Whatever. We had 3 events. We had a show. Did great at the show. We had an after party, did okay. We're supposed to have a brunch the next day. We pushed it back a couple of weeks. We ended up having to cancel that event and give money back. It's thousands of dollars, like a substantial amount of money.
After we had already put out money.
After we had already put out money to make the event happen. To where now this event that we're about to have is the start of recouping that money. And you know, but it's like, this shit ain't cute all the time. Yeah. It's not all like, smiles and giggles. Sometimes it's some frowns. Sometimes it's some creative accounting and trying to figure this shit out. And it's like, can I defer this? Like, all right, well, I got 78 people to pay, anywhere between $50 to $400. I gotta prioritize who gets paid and what. Like, this shit is not always cute. Yeah. And social media has created the highlight reel where everybody's selling you lifestyle instead of the actuality of what it's like to be in business.
Right. Yeah. And I tell people all the time, listen, if you want me to coach you, you gotta understand a few things. Number one, I don't give a fuck who you are. Everything starts with the foundation. My onboarding is my onboarding. My process is my process. Because if your process was working, why the fuck are you coming to me?
Right.
So you don't get to question my process. You had me to do this.
Yeah.
You see what happened when Kobe was like, let's get rid of Phil Jackson. He brought Phil Jackson back. You know why? Because you need the guy who's going to win you championships, not the guy you like.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. A lot of times,
this Rudy Tomjanovich shit is cool, but get Phil back.
This Luke Walton shit is all right, but it's like
it was like, Kobe, what happened? Job's not finished. But the thing of it is, right? I'm not here to be liked, but the other part of that is you're not signing up, paying me 5 figures for me to do everything in your business. It costs $30,000 a month for me to be a fractional CEO in your business, which means that I take over your business. I run your business. You sit down. You watch what I do. You take copious notes. You have no say. Yeah. Because your say got you here. I'm here to drag you out. Most people don't want to do that. So if you're not going to do that, don't come to me thinking I'm going to do everything for you. I have a team. We all do a bunch of stuff, but it's still your business. And a lot of times people have been conditioned because of the highlight reel that you hire a coach and they do everything for you. I never saw Phil Jackson score 1 point. I didn't.
That's real.
Yeah, well, social media has made it to where it's just like, it's almost like the, remember American Gladiators? Where like you knew what the gauntlet was.
Right.
You knew they were going to run up the treadmill that was going backwards. You knew that they were going to have to do the bicycle monkey bar. Mm-hmm. Then they was going to have to come down. They was going to have to run through a piece of paper, and you didn't know which gladiator was going. This nigga Gemini waiting for you. Like you knew they were running the gauntlet, and it's like that's kind of how social media has made entrepreneurship, where it's just like you do this, you get the LC, you get the billboard on Broad Street, you get to this. It's very, very ABC, and it's just like. None of this shit
they
works
speak
like
as
that.
if it's like as being successful is an eventuality.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can have all the core competency, all the understanding, all of the marketing you want, but the business is bad, or the industry is bad, or whatever, or you missed the wave. You know what I'm saying? And you trying to conduct business in an industry where everybody else ran plays and they burnt it out already. Right. Like a lot of motherfuckers got buyer's remorse right now from the trucking industry. People during the pandemic jumped into the trucking industry wholesale and they bought these tractors and these trailers and all this shit. They shit is parked. Oh. Motherfuckers is having fire sales on these joints.
Motherfuckers, I seen the motherfucker was selling like parts of the truck and shit. That shit said steering wheel 720. I'm like, you selling the steering
We breaking this shit down to nicks.
Yeah.
12 skinnies.
Oil filter.
This catalytic converter has never been used.
We only slammed on the brakes one time. Who needs a brake pad?
These brakes, you see how thick these pads are? These pads thicker than your mama's grits.
Motherfucker put the toothpick down. Look at all the tread left on that brake pad. Yeah, man, that trucker shit got real crazy.
Everything is not a guarantee, and the other part of that is people are like, well, what guarantees can you give me? I said, I can guarantee my team's going to show up. Yeah. I can guarantee we're going to do what we say we're going to do. I can't guarantee you're going to work, right? I said, treat me like I'm college or the gym. You can sign up, and a lot of people right now are signing up for Planet Fitness or wherever the fuck they're going.
New year, new me.
Yeah, new year, new me. Every fucking year. You need a decade to make any type of impact.
Yo, I never understand that shit, dog.
Because the psychology is there, and everything points to it. Conditioning.
Like, so the 31st was Tuesday, right? the first is Wednesday. What the fuck is it about the Wednesday that you just like, no, it's on now? That shit blows my mind. Every year you see it. Them first 2-3 weeks in the gym, mayhem. You can't get on a machine. Yeah. You in the studio just doing jumping jacks. Ain't a machine over there.
You can't even think in the gym, let alone get some work done.
Yo, dead ass. You in there creating workouts with the cones and shit. Like,
I'm going to just circuit train.
Right, we're gonna bring back some Tae Bo with a little Zumba.
You playing for 45 minutes because ain't no machine.
Let me see what Beachbody on Demand got on YouTube.
Listen.
Beachbody by Jake and shit. Yeah.
Tony Horton got something for me right now.
Yo. You calling your homie? Let's just go run down the art museum because there ain't a machine open and it's only for the first 2-3 weeks, and then after that, by Martin Luther King, it's back to normal. That shit is crazy.
When I was a sales rep for Nutrisystem, we had a thing.
Damn, Nutrisystem.
Took it back.
Are they still
my dad used to be a
to
be a salesperson and a district manager for Jenny Craig for like 15 years.
Yeah, Jenny Craig.
The diet industry is deadly, bro. And I got nothing bad to say about Nutrisystem.
That shit is cutthroat.
I did $1 million in revenue in a calendar year. I have nothing bad to say about Nutrisystem, but the thing of it is, I was 561 pounds and one of the top salespersons there. Let that sink in. So the thing that kills me is we have this thing called diet season.
Yeah.
Right? And diet season starts Thanksgiving night and ends January 2nd. And when I tell you my commission checks sometimes were
I can believe it. That end of the year,
15, 20,000 just selling shakes and prepackaged food. Right? Yeah. Because people don't want to put in the work. The discipline is hard, man. And this is like, I've lost 312 pounds, and I would rather go through everything I went through. Thank you, brother.
I'm down 200. Shit.
Just fucking go.
Yeah, man. Real
That's what I
shit.
told Dan. I said, oh no, bro. Like,
Trying to keep
it
it.
in.
It'd be crazy because I've gained like 15 pounds back, and I
That's
feel
what happened.
huge.
Yeah,
but I literally, I went to a Christmas party yesterday, and everybody's walking to me like, "Damn, man, you look
so
real
great.
good, keeping that weight on." I'm just like, y'all are fucking crazy.
Because you're in your body the whole time.
Right.
But the thing of it is, I would rather go through that whole process again than go through the pain I go through starting, running, scaling businesses. But it's what I meant to do. Right. That's the one thing I'll never stop doing.
Okay.
Dave, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What do you understand about business structure, maximizing opportunities and scaling that the average entrepreneur doesn't, that makes your expertise so vital?
It's not that I understand anything more than anybody else. It's just that I'm actually using the information. Here's the thing. Complete transparency. You can ask anybody on my staff. You can ask my own wife. You can ask my kids. I'm about as organized as a wet dream without the orgasm. I have no organizational skills whatsoever. That's not what I do. I'm a visionary. For example, Walt Disney was like, Magic Kingdom. What do you call it?
Epcot Center and all that?
No, he didn't. No, Epcot came later.
That was
but
his
he was
brother.
like, Magic Mountain. And Roy is like, oh, shit, so you want to put a roller coaster inside a mountain, and Disneyland ain't enough. We need to do Disney World while you're dealing with your cancer. So what? Basically, we're going to go down to Florida. We're going to go to Orlando. That annex in Orlando, we're going to take all that shit. We're going to drain that swamp. And then we're going to build underground so that the characters will come out. Right, and then we're gonna build the roller coaster and then put a fake mountain around it and then put stone on top of the fake mountain.
It's crazy as you say that. Watching the documentary, Walt Disney wasn't alive when the shit opened.
No, he never
It
saw
was
Disney
the
World.
brother who was the one that put all this shit together. And
Roy.
shit. Roy, yeah, he was
Roy
the one that put all this shit
Roy
together.
is the chief Imagineer. That's why up until very recently, Roy Disney had the biggest divorce settlement in history because he was the guy. So you have to have somebody who is the engineer. You gotta have somebody who's the organizer. You gotta have somebody who I'm an asshole. Let's just be clear. I'm an asshole. But I have people on my team who aren't. Yeah. So they can buffer. They can like.
I like that. That's gonna be my joint. We make it. I'm an asshole. But these workers, there's some good people out there. That's dope.
But they're my team. Like my team makes me look good, you know, and my team keeps me organized. Like I have really big, grandiose visions. One time I got up at 2:00 in the morning. I woke up, my wife like, nay. She's like, I'm like, babe. She's like, what? I said, I got a vision. She's like, oh shit. I said, she's like, what is it? I said, we're gonna do BullyCon. She was like, yeah, you're gonna do that shit. Good night, babe. Cause she know I'm gonna find a way. I don't know what it looks like to not make it happen. I have to make it happen. Everything for me when it comes to business, and business only is do or die. It's life or death. I have to do this. Like people just gotta sing, people just gotta dance. I can leave singing and dancing alone. I can leave wrestling. I cannot leave my vision alone. Because every time, even from a biblical perspective, when God gives somebody a vision and they don't execute on it, they have a horrible life. But when they do execute on it, it's blessing. So why is God giving me these visions? So like I can't get away from that. And that's the thing. I understand that it takes more than me to make me happen. You know what I'm saying? It takes a village to raise a child, but it takes an army to build the type of business and the type of infrastructure that I have. And it's taking years. It took me $375,000 to learn what I needed to learn postgraduate to get to where we are right now. Yeah. People ain't willing to invest that kind of money over time.
Where'd you go to school, if you don't mind me asking?
Temple University.
Nice.
Yeah. Also taught there up until very recently.
Oh, what'd you teach?
Social media marketing and personal branding.
Dope.
Shit.
I teach what I do. I know it's a concept that y'all ain't used to. Like I can do, then I talk.
Yeah, that's funny as shit.
I want to pivot off of business for a little bit. We're gonna come back to it. I want to talk about you and some of your story. Talk to me about your role with the Rickey Smiley Morning Show and the overall business of Rickey Smiley that made you successful in growing those brands.
Okay, so the Rickey situation was cool because it was a blank slate.
Got it.
Right? Rickey came to Dallas way before I did, and he took over for Steve Harvey. There was a Heritage station called K104 where I started to work a couple of years later.
Got it.
So I'm in there, I'm working with the morning show, I'm doing late nights, overnights, whatever the case may be. Now, I'd had a ton of morning show experience, and I had a ton of syndication experience, DJ Clue, so on and so forth. Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And I was like, okay, this K104 thing don't seem to be working out. So I got fired, which is usually how it goes. And you always want to get fired. People are like, I don't want to get fired. You watch too many Jetsons. See how the conditioning works? You always want to get fired so you can collect unemployment and make your next move, dumbass. That way you're not scrambling. You got a little time to regroup.
Yeah.
So I had won tickets to WrestleMania. So I flew to Detroit for WrestleMania.
I remember that WrestleMania.
I came back from that WrestleMania, all hail King Booker, and
Was that 30?
25? 24? It's either 24, 25, 26. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's 25. Or
Okay.
24. Anyway, it might have been 23, but fuck it. It was in Detroit, so everyone's
in the
Detroit.
20s.
It's
In the 20s in Detroit.
So anyway, anyhow, I come back. I talked to the late, great Doug Banks, and he was like, yo, I done sent your tape over to Radio 1. They're waiting for you. So I go over to Radio 1. They was like, we don't have anything for you, but we'll put you in production because you're dope, and you can help out with the morning show. I was like, well, who's doing the morning show? I'm not even thinking because my brain is just like, fucking
Right.
Ricky Smiley. I was like, oh, I know Ricky. Because I opened for him when I was in North Carolina doing stand-up. I know, right? Yet another. Okay, so
23.
Yeah.
23.
Editor's note, WrestleMania 23.
WrestleMania 23. Anywho and anyhow, their producer made the fatal mistake of having me in the building and taking his eye off the ball. Mm-hmm. So I went in there, I did what I did, and I got his job. I didn't take his job from him. He left it there. I recovered it.
Scooped it up.
And I ran it down the end zone. Right? And so what was happening was they kept making Ricky a bunch of promises. Oh, if you just beat K104, we'll put you in syndication. So he beats K104. They're like, yeah, that could have been a fluke. Do it again. Does it again. And then it's like, okay, cool. We're going to put you in St. Louis and Augusta. Now they were spinning off the Augusta station and they were spinning off the St. Louis station who didn't really want us and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So we're fighting. And so I realized there's a few things that need to happen here. The first thing that needs to happen is everybody needs to treat this man like he's an icon. So that's how I refer to him. Icon, radio legend, superstar comedian, everything, right down to the demos, had that imagery in it. Because the more you hear something, the more you see it. Mm-hmm. The second thing I realized is Eric Bischoff had a New York Times bestseller called Controversy Creates Cash. Mm-hmm. And at this particular point, we realized that if we did a few things that had shock value, not shock jockery, but shock value. Yeah. You know, hard questions like asking, Corinne Steffens, like, do you really feel like the best thing you can do with your life is make books about how many,
Right.
And, asking Kourtney Kardashian, would her father be happy about the fact that, the Kardashian name has been reduced to a sex tape? Those things made headlines, front page of Media Takeout a few times, and people started to take notice.
Yeah,
and all
Media
of a sudden,
Takeout, damn. What a time.
Shout out to Fred.
Goddamn.
Shout out to Fred. So all of a sudden.
That was a time. Jesus
Was it
Christ.
ever? But I was
You
able
be
to.
right on the like logging in.
And then you got to call somebody.
Yo.
Girl, how did you?
Yo, Media Takeout. That's crazy.
At that particular point, it was a lot easier for people to answer my phone calls.
Yeah.
Right? Then we bring in a heavy hitter like Gary Bernstein, who's worked with Wendy Williams and a couple other people. And, we started putting people and things in place to make it happen. And then it just started to roll. And in the process of that, you got to fire some people. You got to get rid of some people. You got to bring some people in. And, you get that final team. And then the thing of it is, we were busy having fun every day. We were doing stupid shit. We were doing prank phone calls. We got Obama first when Puff was doing Raising in the Sun, and they was like, well, he's going to Tom Joyner and Steve Harvey, and then he'll come to y'all and say, I'm sorry, how many Steve Harvey shows have played a Bad Boy record this year? Oh, none. How many records is Tom Joyner playing of Bad Boy?
Right.
I said French Montana won't see the light of day if Ricky don't have him first. Mm-hmm. That's it. We had Puff first.
Right.
Like, you have to start employing a little bit of, West Oak Lane tactics in order to make some things happen. And so that worked out really good. I was happy with the overall results of that situation. And, look where he is now. He's definitely first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's not too personal, what made you depart from that situation?
All right. Last time I will ever tell this story.
Okay.
Sometimes in my bad.
No, it's killing me.
It's crazy you picked up on that because I was sitting there looking at it like.
I just felt like it kept going downwards.
Because the mic is afraid of me. Like, oh, shit. It's
like,
going to come for me next. Oh, shit. No.
His levels is good though, right there. All right, cool.
My bad.
No, you straight now.
Sometimes we got to remember this was a time when people weren't talking about mental health.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people can have things going on chemically, right? And they need to take their medicine, and when they don't take their medicine, they're a different type of person than the person that you love and consider the best friend.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people say some things that they don't really mean. Yeah. And again, I went to Martin Luther King High School. I may be a great many things, but I ain't never been nobody's punk. And if I was, a Martin Luther King High School punk is going to take an Alabama punk any day a week.
Right.
So, you know, you talking to me real crazy, talking about you going to threaten me, and I'm trying to save your job. Because what you don't know is the powers that be were trying to replace you with not one, but possibly two kings of comedy and a former host of Showtime at the Apollo. And I do not mean Steve Harvey or Mark Curry. And because I knew those individuals, I knew they weren't bluffing because they were telling me. So like, I'm like a kid trapped between two parents. One is like, you need to get him under control. And the other one was like, fuck what they talking about. And I'm like, the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
So I bring in a consultant. The consultant is like, yo, we need to do this. We need to do that. We need to do this. And I sent him the consultant's recommendations, and he started talking to me crazy one day. And it was kind of like the last time, because like there's a certain level of patience that I have, and then there's a certain level of patience I don't.
Yeah.
And he was talking real greasy on the other side of that talk box in Birmingham. And everybody in the studio was like, why is he tripping? And I sent them what I sent him from the consultant. And I was like, if there's anything wrong in what's being said here, I'll fly to Birmingham, apologize to this man, like, you know. And nobody found anything wrong. I was like, okay, we're done with this.
Right.
And, you know, the head of the company, because they knew, because I had the whole situation on tape, the head of the company was like, what do you want? I said, listen, if there's medicine to be taken, I would like for my friend to take said medicine. And
right.
You guys know that there's, you know. And we kept trying to have a meeting, and he would dash out before the meeting was happening. He did to me what he did to Claudia Jordan, allegedly, which was, oh, you can't be in the same studio with me. You can produce from the other studio, blah, 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 blah. I'm running a nationally syndicated.
Right. I need to be on site for this.
I need to be on site for this. I have to give instructions. You can be all right. Like, this is ridiculous. We're adults here, right? So you keep avoiding me to have the confrontation so we can have the conversation, which tells me our friendship was one of convenience, right? And I hate that because I love that man like my own brother, you know? And there's a certain level of that I'm just not going to put up with. And so we're getting ready for the Obama inauguration. So keep in mind how long ago this was.
Right.
Like therapy, I'm over all this. But I'm answering your question.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it.
So I put in the best of show. I'm getting ready. Everybody's booked for D.C., right? They've called off the dogs. They're not threatening to replace him in D.C. with one of his contemporaries. Too, I don't even think he knows that to this day. He knows now. But...
Exclusive.
Yeah. Shout out to Rudy Rush. But the thing of it is, I get a call. I'm at Hoodle Hands on City Line Avenue.
What a time. These callbacks.
Sixers was in the finals.
So I'm sitting at Hula Hands, having my salmon, talking to my cousin, and my man Hurricane Dave calls me, and I'm like, Dave, what's good? Did I leave something off? He was like, no, I was trying to get to you. So I just got off the plane. I'm at Hula Hands. Yeah. He says, I got to let you go. I said, wait, what? He said, I got to let you go. I said, for what? He said, nigga, I don't know. I'm like, you the boss. What you mean you don't know?
It's your job to know.
Right? He was like, I can't say it's your performance. I can't say you did anything wrong. So we both know where this came from, right?
It's a him or me situation.
Pretty much, even though I was the last line of defense between you and them.
Yeah.
Right? Then, the other part of that for me was, it was like, bro, you have no idea. Like, I got to a point in my career where they started calling me Radio Tupac because it was like, I get shot, fired, I go across the street. First off, fuck your bitch in the clique you claim. West Side. So everybody just expected for me to be, because if you go and look up David Anderson, Black Male Resilience, there's an article on Google. Like Huffington Post got a whole article about, like, I don't crack, like I'm good. Everybody thought I was good, and this time I wasn't. So the people who thought I was good didn't even bother reach because they already knew what time it was, and they know I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just going to pop up like I'm CM Punk at the end of the, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so they're expecting that, and then the people.
That's a good reference.
Great reference.
Yeah.
Shout out to Punk.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, the other people were instructed in knowing certain terms to not talk to me. That type of thing. Or if I'm up
So it's
for
a whole blackballing process.
Yeah, so if I'm up for other gigs, all of a sudden it's like, yeah. Oh, yeah, something happened. We had to go in a different direction. I'm like Kanye, but I'm the best. So yeah, that happened. And like my whole thing is, you don't got to like me. You can part ways with me, but when you try to keep me from eating and I wind up homeless, washing my nuts in the gas station sink behind that,
that's a different level.
it's a different level. But God is good. God is a forgiving God. He is. And if I see that man, I'll hug that man. I hope that's how that plays out.
Right.
But yeah, man, like it's been years, and I thank him because if I had stayed where I was, I'd be like a lot of my contemporaries in that life.
Got it.
Still there, still trying to figure it out. Now they're dealing with 360 deals and all kinds. They're not
Really?
happy. Yeah, they got 360 deals for radio people. You can thank Leo Cohen for that dumb shit. So now radio has adopted that.
So basically,
your email list, your YouTube channel, your name, your likeness, your appearance money, anything you do on the side, they get a cut of it. And it's sign it or move on. And because the jobs have gotten, because of consolidation, gotten smaller.
Yeah.
You know, and there's only a few.
What is it? 3 radio corporations now? You got MS Communications, you got Clear Channel, or iHeart, used to be Clear Channel, and then you got Radio One.
You got Radio One, you've got Cumulus, I almost called them Come On Us, because that's what they do. You got Cumulus, you've got Beasley. There's about 6.
About 6.
Right?
So there's double the amount of major radio corporations, major radio communication companies as it is like record labels. There's three major record labels, and then everybody else is a freaking subsidiary.
Yeah, there's 3 major record companies, and everybody else is a label.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. So if you don't have any entrepreneurial spirit, if you've been hopped up on the drug of just your salary or whatever the fuck it is, then you're not going to move from that situation. So I thank God that thing happened. At the time, I felt horrible. I remember like crying my eyes out. I went back to that gas station where I washed up, and I saw one of the workers. He was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "How you doing?" He was like, "Yeah, what are you doing with the camera crew?" I said, "Oh no, I used to bathe here." He was like, "Bathe?" I was like, "Yeah, I used to bathe right here." He was like, "Well, what are you doing?" "I'm a millionaire." That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, simply stated.
He's like, "Congratulations, thank you so much." And like being in that bathroom, just tears, bro.
Yeah.
Like having to sleep in a Walmart parking lot between 2 tractor trailers, like, yeah, no.
It's like
I'll never forget that.
It's like a pursuit of happiness moment.
It really was, man. But I'm angry that I had to go through that because it was completely unnecessary. But it was absolutely pivotal in becoming the person that I am. Because without that, there's none of this.
And we were talking before we cut the mics on and all of that. You're still adjacent to like the radio communication space. You work as an agent for, like 30 some odd different like people in radio, personality, stuff like that. What made you pivot into that space to say, all right, cool, I'm not on the ground on site working with these these stations or whatever like that, but I'm still going to represent talent and create fair and equitable opportunity for them?
Because they rape black talent at a rate they do not rape white talent.
Speak on it.
They will give you, like, there's companies that pride themselves on, taking care of black people and so on and so forth, but they only take care of people who are in syndication, primarily, and if it don't apply to you, let it fly to you, okay? Mm-hmm. Primarily, black talent is underpaid. I have seen people, and I've experienced this myself, where you could be the number 1 talent in the building, but the number 15 talent is making $1 million a year, and you're not even cracking multiple 5 figures. Mm-hmm. Meaning you're not getting past multiple 5 figures. You're not getting anything near 6 figures or 7 figures, even though you're keeping the lights on. That in and of itself is problematic, and there are people who try to bring equity and inclusion, but it's not working, and everybody has a mentality of, we'll leave you. That's why after 96, when Clinton deregulated communication, there's no more unions. Like WDAS is, I think, the only union shop right now. So
damn, that's interesting.
Patty Jackson will die at WDAS. No diss, but like she's union.
Right.
There's no union. So and a lot of talent don't even realize they can have representation. And you don't have to be in syndication to do that. And the other part of that is the radio industry will give opportunities and marketing and promotions to people who were on one episode of the defunct version of 106 in Park after Terrence and Roxy left, but they won't give those same opportunities, marketing and promotion, to grow somebody up. Like, there's no reason Shamara should still be in South Carolina with that kind of talent, right? Kyle Santillian just got to syndication, and he's from Willingboro. Like, I see talent all the time who have it, and I got sick of them being in my inbox. Like, what do I do? What do I do? I'll handle it.
Right.
I'll handle it because you can't do nothing to me no more.
Right. Yeah, you're not a part of the matrix.
No, I'm good. I'm Mr. Anderson. I took the right pill and I'm out. Like, so I can pull other people out of the matrix. And if we're waiting for somebody else to save our people, it ain't gonna happen. But if we're gonna be entertaining folks, I'm gonna make sure it's fair and equitable.
Right. So it's amazing. I want to talk about the publishing space. Because that's another thing that, you've absolutely dominated, been a best-selling author, and made a lot of noise there. And, you've dominated the space with titles like Common Sense Ain't Common, Pitch, Close, Upsell, Repeat, Sell It Like Jesus, Snapchat Bully, Facebook Live Bully, Brand Bully, YouTube Marketing Bully, and 101 Ways to Get Shit Done. What was it about the publishing space and written word that even attracted you to that medium to begin with?
I signed a book deal, got $10,000, and didn't make another dime from that book. That was the only book that wasn't a bestseller. All of my other books have been bestsellers.
Yeah.
I realized that if I can watch Master P sell shit out the trunk, I can sell these books out the trunk.
Right.
And I'm like, wait, I'm on the radio. I have a microphone. I got a weapon.
Yeah.
I don't need y'all. So the publishing industry is just as fucked up as the radio industry and just as fucked up as the record industry in that they're giving you 8 points or 8%.
Yeah.
And they're taking 92% of the profit, but all of the marketing, the promotion, all that stuff comes out of your 8%.
Right.
So that advance is alone. It's the same play. And that in and of itself becomes a problem.
Right.
Take that later. But it's crazy to me that we're still in this space where we have to constantly talk about what it looks like, and everybody's so afraid of what they don't know because they make it seem like it's impossible. Everything's, I got to get a book deal. I got to get on the New York Times bestseller. No, you don't. Listen, let me tell you something. If I sell a book for $10 and that book sells 100,000 copies,
Made $1 million.
right? And yeah, roughly. I mean, if it's $2 per author copy, yeah, a little less than $1 million, but I mean, still. For shits and gigs,
At the bare minimum, you've generated $1 million.
You've generated $1 million in revenue, and then your expenses are very, very low.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, people keep wanting me on their shows. So, all of my fine books are available right now at fine bookstores and businessbullyshow.com. So, like, I love being able to leave something. When you think about the fact that we've gone as black people from oral traditions to, the written word, it's important, it's impactful. People are still reading Powernomics today. People are still reading Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice. I wrote Pitch, Close, Upsell, Repeat because people weren't reading The Art of the Deal. And I made it shorter because if you, listen, what's the first thing you do when you wake up? You thank God, then you go take a shit.
Start LLC.
That's right. Don't brush your teeth. Let's run the play. But no, I know that in 3 mornings on the toilet, you will know effectively how to structure your sales style.
Yeah.
That was important for me. People kept talking about, I can't sell because selling is icky. Okay, you like Jesus. You don't think Jesus is icky. I'm going to show you how Jesus sold.
Right.
Like, I'm going to upend the things that you're saying are bad and show you how they're good.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Of all those different titles that I threw out there, what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of Sell It Like Jesus because I've written 4 versions of it.
Got it.
I literally wrote Sell It Like Jesus 2 days after I finished Pitch, Close, Upsell, Repeat. I promoted Sell It Like Jesus on the Breakfast Club because the first version was done, and then I literally had a vision from God. And I know that might sound crazy to some people, but it was like, no, you got to go deeper. And I literally wrote another version, got to go deeper. Wrote another version, got to go deeper. And then the 4th and final version is the only version of that book that exists because I destroyed the other 3.
Got it.
But it took a long time to get that out. And I'm proud of it because it's not preachy, but it shows you what it looks like from a practical standpoint. And then I have a new book that I'm dropping because that series in and of itself is a trilogy. So my next book is called Jesus the Influencer. Because
I was looking through all of your books the other day. Like,
sorry.
No, like, just, trying to get acclimated with everything.
Right.
And I typed in Dave Anderson, and all the books came up, and I'm looking at all the different titles, and then I saw the cookbook. And I was like, they do barbecue cooking. I'm like, oh, that's famous.
That's
Dave.
famous. Dave.
Yeah. But they put it in
Got
there
too deep.
Do you realize? Do you realize that When Sell It Like Jesus dropped, they attributed it to Famous Dave.
Yeah,
they attributed it to Famous
because they
Dave.
put that in when you type it. That comes up as one of the joints. Yeah,
and it's so funny. Me and Mark Henry were at the World Food Championships last month, and he was like, "Dave, come to the other side of the arena." I come to the other side of the arena. He was like, "I want you to meet." So I said, "That's Dave Anderson." He was like, "You know?" He was like, "You know my whole name?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "How?" I said, "I'm Dave Anderson." He said, I said, "You're David T. Anderson. I'm David S. Anderson."
Yeah.
He was like, "Dave." I'm like,
Funny
"Dave."
as shit.
You know, so no, I like his barbecue.
Yeah.
You know, my brisket's better, but it's all good.
But yeah, I definitely seen it the other day. I got to the cook. I'm like, damn, this nigga got all kinds of blood. I'm like, oh no, that's
Yeah, there's a
That's
barbecue.
hilarious,
There's
man.
also a light-skinned dude in Atlanta named Dave Anderson, but he's not the business bully. And that's the only reason, like, I'm not on no Umar Johnson, King Kong consciousness shit, but there's a bunch of other Dave Andersons in the space, and I have to differentiate myself. So that's why when you Google Dave Anderson as opposed to that, Google the business bully because I'll come up.
we have a lot of like writers who listen to the show, different like poetry, novels, all kinds of things. Is writing, is that hard? That would just seem to me, because I'm not a writer. He's a writer. We always like joke about this. I'm very off the cuff and I don't like writing. Writing 160 pages of just anything just seems crazy as shit to me. Is it difficult?
It depends on how you do it.
Okay.
So here's the quickest way to write a book.
All right, here's the play.
All right, first of all, after you get up, start your LLC, right? Then you're going to go to the bathroom and wipe your ass, right?
Yeah.
Then you're going to sit at your computer. No, the easiest thing for you to do is to take your phone, right? And you are going to open up the recording app on your phone. And then you start typing. You just start talking. Just talk about whatever. Chapter 1, you know, everywhere I go, they think I'm a football player. If I'm in Miami, they think I play for the Dolphins. If, you know, and like you just start telling your story. You start talking about whatever comes to you. Then you take that and then you go and you use a transcription service, so you can use AI to transcribe it. There's Otter, which is a great program. Otter will take your voice and then do that. Then you give that file to an editor. You can find one on Fiverr and Upwork. They will do that. Then you find somebody to format it. Then you upload that whole thing to Kindle Direct Publishing. Boom, you've got a book. You have not written.
Damn.
Man, that is the play. Let's write a book.
What can I say except you're welcome?
Yeah, straight up.
Damn, like I done went about this all wrong. I wrote all this shit out.
Damn, I went to the dollar store, got a black and white composition book.
No, but the funny thing is, true story though, I went and wrote Common Sense Ain't Common. I wrote Common Sense Ain't Common in a composition book, and my hand cramped. I started to develop early, like, carpal tunnel. Yeah. So I was like, there's got to be a better way. And
There's got to be a more efficient way for this.
And then I found Dragon, which was a dictation software at the time. What a time. And so I used that. And then I started to realize that, okay, there's a way to do this and make it happen. But that's the thing. Your image of writing a book has been put in your head ever since you were a kid. There's some guy sitting there and I'm just going to burn a midnight oil. And then when he's done, he smokes a cigarette and winds up getting hobbled in misery. Like, that's not reality. There is a way to do this. You're not asking the right questions, and because you've been set up to believe that the answer is too hard, you don't bother.
I wonder, do you still experience writer's block going that way? Okay, I didn't know if that was like, because you're not writing. I didn't know just.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, right, I will, like, my new thing right now is my 8-year-old is at that age where I can play with her. You know what I'm saying? Because my 24-year-old, I'm just going to pay Uber for her. Daddy! Like, but my 8-year-old, she still thinks I'm Superman. So she'll be like, can we do a daddy-daughter date? And I'm like, yeah. Because, you know, we're our active fathers out here. Like, all black men ain't shit. Yeah. So we go and we run off all the energy. And, like, I get that energy from her and we start talking. And I get really excited. She said, Daddy, you know, when you die, I'm going to take over your company. I'm like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a morbid conversation. It's beautiful because my dad wasn't able to get that to me. But once I get all that energy out, then I'm able to kind of sit back and focus. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. You know, and I can talk about legacy. So then legacy is on my mind. Or you go back and you look at somebody like L. Frank Baum, who wrote The Wizard of Oz. Everything L. Frank Baum wrote about was him voicing his trauma. You know, there was a dude who was threatening to kill him in the town that he was with his family. And he basically showed up like, if you're going to kill me, kill me. We're going to shoot it out. We're going to shoot it out. And old boy folded like a blanket. And he tells his kids, because that's how he would entertain his kids. He'd be like, yo, let me tell you about a cowardly lion.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and so you then begin to piece things together like you in the 5 Heartbeats.
Now, let me ask you this, because you mentioned in talking about the whole book about how getting it over to AI. How do you feel about automation?
I love automation. Now, let me be very okay.
Just because you're in so many different fields, like I know you got to have like 50-50 pull and take type thing with it.
Yeah, of course. Here's my issue. Artificial intelligence has become the new buzzword for niggas who don't know what else to say because they hear some shit. Last year, it was social media, and the year before that, it was automation. Like, there's always a buzzword. If you have not mastered natural intelligence, artificial intelligence is not the play you think it is, booby cakes.
Right.
Here's what I mean by that. The AI is only as good as what you're feeding it. A lot of people suck at ChatGPT because their prompts suck donkey dick. Right? So you got to figure out what you need to tell the AI in order to do it in a way that's effective. And I think anything that is good is good. My great-grandfather was an elevator operator. When the last time you seen an elevator operator? It's obsolete. You have to realize that some things are obsolescence. Like
You remember, like an elevator operator? That was a thing in life.
like
What
that
floor?
was a steady go.
Where we
18?
going? Where we going?
I had been professionally trained boss to push these and heel buttons. And I was going to do it. You was going to touch a thing.
Where we going? Number 9?
There we go. Feeling fine, number 9. Watch out now.
Feeling fine, number 9.
Are you one of these people? Are you one of these people who is waiting to get overtaken by the tsunami of technology? Right? There are people who argue this, and this is the knuckle-dragging, mouth-breathing contingency of the audience, who will say, well, everybody needs to get paid a minimum working wage of $15 if they're working in fast food. Let me explain something to you, numbnuts. Hi, Dave Anderson here. Do you know that those jobs were supposed to be for little old ladies just to supplement their income and for teenagers to make some fuck around money so they can put some gas in their car? It's not meant to be a vocation. Here's the thing. Instead of focusing on minimum wage, how about we focus on maximum skills, right? How about we realize that there's a thing that I can pay $30,000 for. So let's say, small business owner, right?
Yeah.
They say, the government says minimum wage has to be $25 an hour. McDonald's can handle that, right? Hewlett Packard can handle that. Apple can handle that. Facebook can handle it.
Target can handle it.
Can you?
Hell no.
No.
No,
right?
Here's
Here's
trying
what,
to get Dan in a 360 now.
And real quick, before you jump into your point, I don't want to step on your point. A lot of people don't realize because, again, they're only inundated with the small details and the finishes around being in business. Your human capital cost is the number one expense to operating a business. Always. Bar none. Always. It doesn't move. Higher than rent, higher than taxes, higher than amortization, depreciation.
And you can't make arrangements on it. Like, you can't call, hey, can I make a payment arrangements on your salary? Like, so here's the thing. Big companies innovate at 10 times the level of the average bear. So if I'm McDonald's, I said, oh, okay, y'all want to do $25 an hour, no problem. If it takes 5 people to work a shift, that's, okay, so that's 5 times 3 is 15, so that's 15 people. So I am going to literally cut 12 people. I want to have 1 person per shift, so that's morning, noon, overnights, right? Then I'm going to use Moppy and Flippy, because Flippy can drop fries, Flippy can flip burgers. I only need you to make sure that that works. Oh, and by the way, what about a backlog of orders, you say? No problem. We got 2 fucking kiosks. Both of those cost me $30,000. I've already made a profit by paying this one schmuck $25,000 and then having machines that are guaranteed for life for $30,000, and then I spend another $10,000 a year for the insurance to make sure that they're maintained.
Yo, you ain't lying. I went in McDonald's recently. I haven't been in McDonald's in God knows how long. I just stopped eating it at a certain point. You know, drive-thrus and shit. And I walked in, and it was literally like there isn't a counter anymore.
No.
Like where you remember how like the counter would be long.
Yeah.
It would have all the toys for the month and the Happy Meals. And all that. Like ain't none of it's kiosk.
It's a kiosk.
Yeah, straight up.
So
Yeah, that's crazy.
they'll figure it out, and then everybody
Wawa
else.
now everywhere. It's
Yeah.
like the self.
You go into a store like Uniqlo, when you're checking out, there's one person that's supervising all of the checkout kiosks. You drop everything into this bin. The AI reads the weight and all of the QPC codes. That's everything in there. Boom. It spits out a total. It's done. You walk out, have a nice freaking day.
We went to the supermarket the other day, and the market we go to, you come in now, they got a wall of scanners.
Yep.
And you sign in with your card. It unlocks a scanner for you, and you just scan everything as you walk through the store. You get done, pay with it on your card.
Holy shit.
Plug it back up and walk out. Shit is crazy now, dog.
You're
I'm like,
not.
damn, can we get these T-bones and apples? Like, 'cause this shit is crazy. Like,
But we're not innovating in a way that makes sense because everybody wants to be the leader.
yeah.
All I'm saying is, can we all get on the bus? I don't want to be the leader. I don't give a fuck about being a leader. I just want to be on the bus, right?
We're the Beanie Siegel. I ain't the captain of the yacht, but I'm on a boat.
But I'm on a boat.
Shout out to Beanie. That's perfect use of AI. his voice is not what it used to be.
Right.
So he understands that. So there's enough, like Roger Ebert, there was enough of his voice where he could literally make the lyrics. His pen is still great. Yeah. He can that makes sense. There's a forethought there. There's sight there. But we need to focus on maximum skills. Not that shit they're teaching you in college in order to justify that $100,000 student loan that you take so that you can't get a house, you can't set up things that you need to set up. Like, we got to start thinking logistically about how we're moving. So that's my take on it. I think automation is great. It's coming. You're either going to get down or lay down. You got another beanie. Shout out to Beans. Beans must be talking about me. Shout out to that man. God bless that.
That's hilarious. You want to go?
Yeah. As of late, you've been dominating social media.
Yes, sir.
You got an array of appearances on multiple shows, producing a bunch of viral clips as a social commentator and a cultural critic primarily. Culturally, what do you see as the primary areas of improvement for Black America headed into 2024 and beyond?
Y'all got to understand that just because somebody is giving you criticism, it's not hate. Everything isn't hate. People have questions and they should be answered. If someone can't answer a question without calling you a YouTube beta male simp mangina, then I question whether or not that individual is on the up and up. Right? I also think that we have to understand that there is a lot more that can be accomplished. One of my friends, George C. Fraser, says, 1 + 1 is 2, but 1 and 1 is 11, meaning that we have to start being collaborative, right? There's a lot going on. Like, y'all like, yo, I'm doing this thing with WrestleMania. I'm like, okay, well, I manage Mark Henry. I know I can bring Mark through. I know he gonna bring some more friends. Like, let's see what we can
Me and
make
Mark
done.
Henry together would just be hilarious. Because I heard it my whole life.
Got to recreate the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, I got to get the leotard out.
But that's the thing. We're more powerful together. You don't see the Power Rangers arguing about who the leader is.
Right. They just do. They just power range shit.
It's morphin' time. Like, that's just what it is. Oh,
just Power Range
Tommy's
shit.
done. Oh, shit. Man, he can't be the Green Ranger anymore. He's white. Let's make him the White Ranger.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Like, at some point, you got to realize that that's where our power lies. The other thing that we need to focus on is somebody has to be okay with doing the ugly work. There's a lot of money in the ugly work of things that you don't want to do. One of my companies is Rogers Repair Crew and More, and we're based out of the Dallas and Oklahoma area. And Roger, my partner, he's amazing. This man can clean anything. This man can, like, we do landscaping, we do handyman work, he gives classes. We're literally doing our cleaning side of the business, and we're franchising it. So we're giving people opportunities to start their own business in a box so that they can make money. But I want to do my own business and call it Thought Maids. All right, Twerkles, knock yourself out. But we've already got the infrastructure here. Why do you want to do this, Cinnabons? Like, just work with me. Yeah. And that's the thing. Everybody wants to be able, they don't ever want to say, I leaned on you for this. Listen, you can't talk about me without, making a Rickey Smiley, Rodney Perry, Rick Party, D. Lee reference, because those people are a big part of why I'm here. Right?
And nobody does it alone anyway.
No, nobody does it alone. The first time I ever saw, like, a big checkbook with, like, a binder was when I was working for D. Lee at the Laugh House, right? When nobody knew what a Kevin Hart was. You know what I'm saying? When it was literally Michael Blackson, perfecting that accent he heard his whole life, because Mike talked like us.
Right.
But that's the thing, like, nobody was around and all that, and I'm out here hustling like, yo, take these free tickets. I'm like, D, why are we giving these tickets out for free? He was like, because we're going to make money on the food in the bar. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, there's a method to the madness.
I was going to B school without realizing I was going to B school, and I'm 17 years old, right? I can't divorce that experience from what I have now, and I'm okay with that. I got no problem giving any one of my mentors their flowers at any given time. We have a problem with saying that somebody helped us as if it makes us any less brilliant, intelligent, powerful.
That's the part of the got it out the mud, started from the bottom aspect, where you hear people almost like if you had a hand or had a friend or had an acquaintance or an alliance, it's almost like, oh, you were supposed to do, you didn't work it on, and it's just, no, that's not how it works, man.
That's not how it works. Nepotism is a good thing. If you think I'm lying, look at Hunter Biden. His father stood on the daggone floor of the Senate and said, if you have a rock bigger than the size of a quarter, you're going to jail for 25 years. He had rocks all over that room and a crack whore on tape.
Yeah.
He's the son of the president. Nothing happened. Yeah. Don't tell me nepotism.
He got
don't
into
work.
more trouble.
Yeah. Right.
That's what happened. He didn't get corrective action. He got into more bullshit.
Yeah. Right. We don't know where this cocaine came from in the White House, but there was cocaine in the White House. We can confirm that. We don't know where it came from. Yeah. There's one cokehead in the White House.
I mean, Jeezy was up here. You know what I'm saying?
Pusha T was here 2 years ago.
He was here twice.
We just don't know. We know it wasn't Lil Wayne because there was no lean found in the White House. It was literally.
That's hilarious.
You know, that's the thing, man. Like, we got to start realizing that our power is not only in our abilities to collaborate, but our ability to make sure that our kids collaborate with each other.
Yeah, that's real. Agree or disagree?
Sure.
Access to capital is the biggest hurdle for Black Americans gaining financial independence.
Completely disagree.
Break it down for me.
I started my business with a $12 GoDaddy website and 100 phone calls a day. Like, anybody can, like, money isn't the thing, because when you say that money is the thing, you'll never get started. Right?
Because there'll always be a barrier, a financial barrier into entry.
Right. So let's say you just don't have the skills to build a GoDaddy plug-and-play website or a Squarespace website. Let's just say you are a fucking caveman Negro. Fine. Here's what I want you to do. Go to BJ's, and if you don't have BJ's, your cousin, somebody got a BJ's membership, go get 2 cases of water, get yourself some ice, wait till about May 15th, and start selling waters on Roosevelt Boulevard like I did to fund my business. I don't want to, like, you have this. I cried the day my parents, my grandparents, my aunts, and my uncles chipped in and got me Color Encyclopedia Britannica, because you got every answer to every question that has ever been asked or will ever be asked right the fuck here. But you know who Blueface is fucking?
I say this shit all the time. Y'all know every messy detail. What Drake say, get out the shade room. Like, y'all know everything, but then you ask motherfucker, yo, what motherfucker you should kill me? I used to drive the bus. Yo, big man, what time 48 stop running? Why you asking me this?
Yo,
man, you got an iPhone. Why you asking me this?
I'm going to tell you something I've never told anybody ever publicly. I'm going to tell it to you, right? So while I was figuring out all this shit, right, this is maybe a year before the business bully was born, there was an opportunity for me to work at SEPTA. Now, I don't strike y'all as a dude that'll drive a bus. Sorry, Ebony K. Williams. I'm the guy that will own the bus, but I'm taking boo-boo cakes. Sorry for you. The thing of it is, I was there because I had already done all the social media shit. Right?
Got it.
And so they say, when you come in, we can talk about it, this, that, and the third. And me and my brother-in-law were looking, and we're like, yo, there's like 5 different apps that tell everybody where the bus is coming, and none of them are owned by SEPTA. I said, nigga, you fucking with me. So we look. There's no SEPTA app. So we're literally designing the SEPTA app, and I'm going in like, boom, PowerPoint presentation, a whole 9, killing the shit. Then come to find out SEPTA, the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, for those of you who do not live in Philly, their bus company, they have one person in charge of Twitter who's in a completely different department than the person who's in charge of Facebook, who's a completely different department than the person in charge of Instagram, and they all hate each other. And I'm like, y'all backwards. I said, so here's what we'll do. We'll do this app. Everybody else is making money off this app. You could sell stuff on the app. You could sell merch on the app. You could let everybody know about the regional rail. You can hit push notifications.
You have advertisers on here.
You can advertise. And then I said, y'all are so dumb, it doesn't make any sense. They said, Mr. Anderson, what do you mean? I said, you're wasting prime real estate. They said, what do you mean? I said, look at a bus. And I showed them the inside of a bus. And I said, what do you see? Oh, well, you see on the side above the window, there's ads. You see there's a bus back ad. There's ads on the sides. We're wrapping the bus. I said, look up. And they look up. I said, yeah, see, there's nothing on the roof. I said, that's prime real estate. Sell that. Yeah. And they're like, oh. And they said, thank you so much. This is phenomenal. And the condition of the interview was that you had to leave your presentation with them.
Oh, man.
3 weeks later, I'm traveling from Temple to the far northeast, and they had the brand new trains out. So I'm on this brand new train, and literally the SEPTA app is right there. Everything the way we designed it, everything we just did that and the third. So if you ever download the SEPTA app, you're welcome. So that's what they do. They'll jack you. And that's why I never play within the system. So when people say, why am I asshole? Why is this, that, and the third? I don't want to have to deal with them, because like Banner tells me all the time, if we had us, we wouldn't need them, because what they do is what they're supposed to do. They take advantage of a situation because they're calling the shots. But if we called our own shots, they can't take advantage of us, now can they?
Yeah. So in a situation like that, even though the information within it is relevant to them, it's their information, is the technology not proprietary to where they owe you sort of something, compensatory damages or something, if you were to legally pursue that, for the fact that they jacked your whole fucking app?
Again, this is like, I don't know, 2013,
Yeah.
2012, 2013. I was not what I am today. The other part of that is we didn't give them the tech. We just gave them the framework.
Yeah.
Right. And here's what to do. Here's how you do this. This is what's wrong with that app. This is what's wrong with that app. This is what's good. This, that. Yeah. So we gave them like the rundown of everything they should.
But none of the functionality.
Nah. Okay. We told them what the functionality should look like.
Right.
I didn't put a design in the development. I'd had no.
So they just basically had to reverse engineer off of your concept.
Yep. Yeah. And no, at that point, I wasn't in the Silicon Valley yet.
Got it.
Different ballgame, but that's what happens. There's a bunch of people who go out here and sell, who go in good faith to pitch their ideas, and they put a little contingency. You have to leave this idea, and it becomes our property. And a lot of us don't read that fine print, but we would never do that to each other, for the most part.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. There has to be a certain level of self-reliance, a certain level of coming in on ourselves. That needs to take place. That is not taking place.
I want to collab with you on something. I don't know what yet. We're gonna figure it out.
We'll work on it.
Dan's wrestling career. Something.
Yeah. So
Listen,
I see like endless opportunity for us to potentially.
I just want him to come out in a unitard.
Hookah, I'm telling you.
Action.
Yeah, hookah boss.
Hookah boss.
Yeah, straight up. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you view the thought or the goings-ons of reparations?
Here's the thing.
Because that's kind of like going into like the ending of that. Like, where are you at with reparations?
Here's my thing. Yes, we built this country, right? The other part of that is, like, there's a school of thought that says, well, nobody alive was enslaved, and that is true. Nobody alive owned slaves. That is also true. But there is a direct correlation between the fact that there are people, like, I don't believe all white people are racist, but I do believe that all white people on some level, whether they are conscious of it or not, have benefited from racism. Right?
Yeah, whether directly or indirectly.
Whether directly or indirectly, whether they know it or they don't. But the other part of that is we're not asking for the right thing. I do think that there should be some monetary gains. I do think that it's possible. It's been done for a whole bunch of other people who have been wrong. But even if you take slavery off the table, there's still a cause for reparations for people who are alive today, who have been redlined, who have been segregated, who have been denied opportunities based upon their complexion, based upon their hair structure, based upon who their parentage is, which they had no control over. There's a bunch of things to get repair for.
Yeah.
Right? Dr. Claude Anderson talks about it in Powernomics, but most of us have not read Powernomics, and that in and of itself is problematic.
I got a Claude Anderson question for you too. You just made me think about it.
I got a follow up to this question.
I got nothing but time. But the thing of it is, I need people to understand that you need to ask for things that make sense. So if we know one of the greatest barriers to entry isn't access to capital, it's the fact that our credit is fucked up by the time we're 17 and a half, because most of us are getting debilitating federal student loans. Yeah. We automatically, and President Biden said he was going to do all this for student loans, and he's done some things. I'm not saying that he hasn't.
Yeah.
But he could easily, with the stroke of a pen and an executive order, wipe out all student loan debt for all Americans. That's one. Number two, we should have free school like the Native Americans do, or those who signed up for $5 and pretended they're Native Americans, Elizabeth Warren. And
hey, we gambling,
then the other part of that is, just like do you remember the movie Armageddon?
Mm-hmm.
You know what the last thing they asked for was? We never ever want to pay taxes.
Pay taxes, right.
If I'm living tax-free, I have the freedom to make that money work. I have the freedom to do. And do you not realize that taxing, the way we're taxed is illegal? You get your paycheck, right?
Patrice O'Neal has a whole bit about this.
I love Patrice. Yeah, I miss Patrice.
Straight up, he has a whole bit about black people paying taxes. But, I know where you're about to go with this.
But you pay your taxes, right? They take taxes out your check. Then you go buy some stuff. That shit's taxed, right? You pay your friend. They get taxed on that money. So you've been taxed like 3-4 times. Your money has nowhere to go. And I feel like the least you could do for what our ancestors sacrificed is keep us from having to pay taxes. Right? Because we've already had, I don't know, a good 150 years of taxation without representation, because they sure enough took our labor and the profits from that and they're not giving it back to us. The other part of that is we should automatically be given diplomatic immunity for non-drug offenses and be able to handle our own in-house. Right? I also think that there's a portion of us, if we so choose, that need to go to a particular part that is a parcel of land, a reserve for us, like they have reservations, but ours will be fucked up, where we can collaborate on our own and
as a sovereign nation,
and have UN diplomatic protections so that we can move. But asking for a check that we're just going to blow because no one has ever taught us financial literacy, but they've taught us the wheel's going to bust, go round and round, and George Washington chopped down the cherry tree, which never fucking existed on any of his properties, and that he cannot tell a lie, and then the teeth were wooden when they came from my ancestors. Like, There's things that we need to focus on, and it's beyond the check. That's it.
I remember hearing the wooden teeth thing when I was young. Who put them Jones in?
Right. What if he got splinters in his gums? Like, I had questions. I got kicked out of class because I asked, what if he had splinters in his gums?
You brought up redline, and to both of y'all, have either of y'all gotten into the Navy Federal?
I was right there with
story
you.
with the black people getting lesser amounts as far as approval when it comes to how do y'all feel about that?
I think the final number was 50% of black applicants were approved, 75% of white applicants were approved. The black applicants that were denied on average had better credit scores and made more money.
Yeah.
And were approved at 25% of a less rate.
Yes, of course.
Right.
Because guess what? The job is being done. But see, people like Jamel Hill want to argue and do think pieces and talk about me, but not talk to me when I say things like reality television is dangerous to the image of black women, and as a black woman goes, so goes black society, and talk about things I never talked about. Like she started talking about birth rates and all this other shit. Yeah, no, I spot you that, but I never said that.
Right.
Talk to me about what I said, not what you think I meant. Right. The other part of that is I don't trust people who are friends with Andy Cohen talking about my take on reality television when you're friends with somebody that has made an entire industry off of making black women look foolish.
Yeah, complete organized dysfunction.
Right. So my whole thing is they keep doing this because they're one condition, two, they can get away with it, and three, they know most of us don't have the money to be litigious. That's it.
Yeah.
I'll sue the fuck out of you.
How do you feel about it?
I mean, you know, the unfortunate reality is it's more of the same. It's the same shit that we've been seeing forever and ever and ever. Apple just put out that movie a couple of years ago with Anthony Mackie talking about the guy that tried to break the redlining cycle in Los Angeles based on a true story, ended up having to buy the bank in order to break the redlining cycle, what was going on with black people, because he had this is pre-credit scores, but he had the earning power, everything in place to be able to buy a home in a certain neighborhood, couldn't because he was redlined out, and found a workaround in literally buying the financial institution and bought several of them around the country.
Correct.
You know, and trying to get out his dreams and create financial freedom for himself and people that look like him. So to know that in 2022, 2023, going into 2024, that it's still the same is disappointing. You know, and Navy Federal being one of those places where it's like that was like run the play headquarters for the pandemic, and then now you see it's like Where now you see that in reality it's like, yeah, y'all ran plays. Niggas got credit cards. Niggas got, you know, cars that they didn't got repoed now because cars are being repoed at the highest rate that they've ever been in the history of the United States of America. But y'all didn't get nothing tangible. Y'all didn't create ownership in nothing. Y'all bought a bunch of fucking clothes, went to Tulum a million times, smoked all the hookah you could smoke, ate all of the lamb chops, drank all of the lemon drops, and now it's back to reality.
Ate all the lamb chops.
And you don't own shit.
You say lamb chops and lemon drops.
Chops and drops.
Yeah, man. It made me like, I don't know if you ever got into the situation with the black couple where they went to get their house appraised.
Yeah, and then they took all their pictures down, put the white people's
Yeah.
like, yes.
Yeah, and their appraisal went up.
Bro, that was
150,000.
every other day in the Metroplex at one particular point when I lived in Dallas. And then what happened was black people would move into certain neighborhoods, did have the approval. You couldn't deny them. Then all of a sudden you see stuff on their door like die nigga die. And we having rallies and whatnot, like me, Rickey, Smiley, Baisden out there, everybody. Like, it was so crazy, you know, in a 2007, 2008 world that stuff was happening.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't surprise me, but my whole thing is, again, if we had us, we wouldn't need them, and we got to be really careful of these interlopers who ride off of the legacy of blackness, whether that is Marcus Garvey, whether that's a Greenwood Bank, whether it's whatever. And then all of a sudden, they have all of these other people involved in these things that don't look like us and don't have our best interest at heart. So again, we got to start vetting situations. That's not hate. That's just telling you might want to look at the fine print of who you're dealing with and what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. My Claude Anderson point, before I lose it. Dr. Claude Anderson is one of the most important economists and in the history of the United States, regardless of race, just ever. He's worked through you from the Carter administration all the way to now. You know, he's had a hand in how the economics and finances of this country are shaped in terms of policy, understanding, interest, all of that. He literally can shift economies with, you know, his words. How disappointed were you to see the backlash that Ice Cube, Dr. Claude Anderson, and their plan got just for even being willing to meet with Donald Trump to try to guarantee something for black people, and the visceral reaction that liberal black America gave them. How disappointing was that to see unfold?
I wasn't disappointed. I expected it.
Fair
Again,
point.
when you understand what somebody thinks, you don't have to worry about what they'll do. Here's the truth of the matter. Name one specific thing Joe Biden has done for black people.
You can't.
Name one specific thing.
Well, 2 Chainz came out at the just saying, I'm different, man.
He said, I got to vote with this campaign because these candidates, they different. I pride myself on being different. And with that being said, I'm different. I heard that fucking beat drop. I say, I know you lying.
When Joe Biden sat there, when Joe Biden sat there and said to Cardi B, yeah, my daughter's, I got this, and so I'm Joey B. I was like, oh my fuck. But you tell Ice Cube, who, by the way, like, can we just talk about how brilliant that man is?
Yeah.
His evolution, right? Writing, directing,
producing, identifying talent.
Creating an opportunity for people that otherwise would be discarded and penniless had he not created the big three, right? Putting women in positions to coach former NBA players, right? Like, the thing this man does is like, you have to understand that this man is brilliant, right? And my whole thing is, and this is where people get me twisted because everybody thinks I'm a Republican, right? The thing of it is, financially, it makes a lot more sense for me to lean to the right because there's nothing good financially for a business person with a liberal.
Absolutely
right?
not.
The other part of that is, I want what I want for my people. I don't give a fuck who's giving it to me. If Kamala Harris all of a sudden changed her tune after going in, I quote, I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm going to do something specifically for black people. No. And says, yeah, I'm going to do something. I'm going to sit down with Kamala.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Y'all get caught up on who they tell you not to like, and you don't. I literally put out a challenge. When somebody asked me this question, I said, I'll give you $10,000 cash right now. Name me the tenets of the Build Back Better plan. Go. That's the point.
Yeah.
You can't unless you Google it. And by the way, Joe Biden's plan for black America is right now, if you put it on your phone, it is gone from his website because he already got you niggas on lock. You asked for that. Cardi B got on a live and talked about, I can't believe how much groceries cost. You told everybody to vote for him. You the dumbass cluck who did it, Cardi, and I'm standing on that. Right? The other part of that is y'all vote your emotions. You do not vote your interests. You never think about your finances. You don't think about anything but who you fucking Friday night, and that's exactly why you're in the position you're in. Then you got mad at Bill Cosby for telling y'all need to do more than stand in line for Jordans, and y'all need to pull your pants up and be a little bit more respectable. There should be balance in all things. Y'all got mad at him for that. Was he wrong, though? How is your economy right now? Does your bank account look like it has some digits in it, or does it look like a temperature? How do you feel about what you set in place? By the way, you're mad at Donald Trump for being a racist, but last I checked, and maybe I got it wrong in 5th grade civics, so please stand down and correct me at any given time. But do presidents write laws, or is that Congress and Senate?
That's Congress and Senate.
Oh, so when Senator Joseph R. Biden from Delaware stood there and wrote that daggone crime bill.
94 crime bill.
Yeah, right. And
Upended the black community in a stroke of a pen.
Right. And said, well, the churches, and him and Bill Clinton, well, the churches and the Congressional Black Caucus said we need it. First of all, the Congressional Black Caucus is only black for black congressional Democrats. Because Byron Donalds, who's as dark as me and this brother, tried to join the Congressional Black Caucus. He is a congressman. Mm-hmm. He was duly elected by the people, and they said, no, you can't be here. He's black. The fuck you mean? Also, do me a favor. If I'm lying, I'm dying, please feel free to correct me. I am a fallible human being. But when you look at the Congressional Asian American Pacific Islander Caucus, they say their agenda is for Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders.
Yep.
When you look at and I could be getting this wrong, the Latinx or the Hispanic American caucus, Congressional Caucus, their main thing is about the upliftment and fulfillment of America's dream for Hispanic people. Black people is about people of color. What the fuck is that? And LGBTQIA. Why isn't there just a LGBTQI? Like, why do we always have to be people of color? Why does it have to be?
We got to be grouped into some larger thing.
To everybody else, because you dumb fucking clucks allow it, because you don't call for any diversity of your vote. And y'all can say, well, we're not the only liberal ones. No, but you're the majority liberal ones, and you're the only ones that don't vote on both sides of the aisles. Even the gays understand why it's important to have representation on both sides of the aisle. And if you think I'm lying, I submit to you, Caitlin fucking Jenner. At the end of the day, that's where we're fucked up. We're caught up on emotion instead of logic. We're caught up on tradition instead of facts, and we do not ask anything for our vote. And when anybody says that, like Amanda Seales got mad at me because I went on live with Instagram with her. And
She's interesting.
She is. I'm still trying to figure out how somebody's a stand-up comedian. Nobody can tell me an Amanda Seales joke worth talking about, but I digress. She says, well, I said, name one thing that a Democrat has done specifically for black people in the past 10 years. Oh, Dave, you have to understand that 10 years, it's important right now. It was important when we didn't need Mitt Romney in the White House. It was important when we didn't need, oh, God, why can't I call his name? The one with the arms.
McLean.
McCain.
John McCain.
McLean.
You're thinking of McCain.
Yeah,
McCain from Die Hard.
Yeah.
But no, John McCain. It's always so important. Oh, it's got it. And then y'all got Trump out. And y'all can say, well, Obama had that financial thing, right? And I said, but Donald Trump didn't tank it.
Didn't tank it at all.
Where's the economy right now, gentlemen?
Oh, it's fucked up. We just now are starting to see some rebound into the stock market after 2 years of just tumultuous, horrible stock activity.
Right. So you're trying to tell me
Fuck the
that
stock market. My Arby's was $15.
why are Happy Meals requiring a credit check? Like, what the fuck? Like, you can't even just get a McNugget buddy no more. You got to get a specialty meal to get a McNugget buddy, and that's just $20. Like, DoorDash starting to look like a utility bill out this bitch.
No, real
so
shit.
Please tell me, black people, what have you gotten from that? And when Trump said, what do you have to lose? You lost it now. Every other developed nation made sure that people were getting like $2,000 a month. You got $2,000 once. Congratulations.
One
dumbass.
shot.
Shout out to Cali. You played yourself.
I don't think it was once. I think it was like we got 1,200 and then we got some more bread.
Yeah, that could be right. That could be right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
But it wasn't another 12.
It wasn't,
It wasn't 12 two
6.
times. Yeah.
Like, how do you live?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like, I had a conversation with some local city government, and I explained to them that people just don't want a path to get a regular job. Do you know they surveyed teenagers between the ages of 14 and 17 and asked them what they want their what to be when they grow up? You know what they said?
Social media influencer.
Social media influencer. The second choice was reality shows. So that was number 2. Number 3 was artists, whether that's actor, singer, rapper,
Right.
dancer, whatever.
Something
and
in
number
the-
4 was ball player. So for the first time in Black America history,
Ball player, they ain't lying. Fuck that.
didn't even make the bronze.
Kai's not making $55 million a year. We don't need to be no guy. We don't need to dribble no basketball.
But here's the thing, bro. Like, I'm managed. I ain't taking no bumps.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, there's so many other opportunities for you to be great, for you to be creative. But if you're not teaching people that they can harness their creativity into cash that rivals that of a drug dealer, a stick-up kid, whatever the case may be, they're never going to see that potential. And so they're going to go out here and you're going to have a gun problem.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm on. So when people ask me about, you know, how I feel and if I'm disappointed, I expect it, but I'm saddened because nobody bothers to look at facts. Everything is about feelings, how you feel about a person. I do business with people I can't fucking stand. You want to know why? I don't need no fans. Yeah. My fans are my kids and my wife. The rest of y'all motherfuckers, like, I'll take a leave. I appreciate you if you are, but I don't hang my life on your opinions of me. That's another problem. We do everything for clout. Everything is clout and clicks, and we wonder why we're dead inside and we can't get our shit together. So yeah, I'm not surprised.
So many, that study that you just unveiled speaks directly to the fact that so many people in the black community and just I think Gen Z in general have main character syndrome, and they all want to be a star and don't want to exist in the margins, and not even understanding like the people that exist in the margins that broker these deals and stuff like that. That's really where the bread is. You take somebody like Scooter Braun. He managed Justin Bieber. He acquired Taylor Swift's catalog and all of that. He got leveraged. He leveraged all of that business acumen and all of that wheeling and dealing to the point where he sold his company to Hybe, a South Korean company, for $1 billion, and now he's the global CEO for all of their American operations. Like, he was a manager. He used to work for Jermaine Dupri in Atlanta at So Def doing A&R work, and now he's a billionaire.
Correct.
Yeah.
Existing in the margins. You take somebody like Rich Paul. Rich Paul just negotiated over $2 billion in contracts the first day of free agency for 2023 NBA free agency. In what was considered a down free agency class, he negotiated $2 billion in guaranteed money. And his structure of how he sets up these deals for these players where they're getting 50% advanced here and then a monthly, disbursement or whatever.
Paid by November.
Like crazy shit like that. You know what I mean? And it's like not enough of our kids.
Yeah, that's really real shit. Yeah.
Not enough of our youth are saying, I want to do that.
Because
like,
they don't see it as a possibility. If all they see is fucking Blueface, fucking a chick who looks like Stewie and a girl with one tooth, what the fuck do you think they gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, at some point, you gotta realize that this is the shit, right? Then, like, masculinity is completely out the door, so then there's no accountability. Zeus got a show called Bad Boys, and every one of them is, I'm not trying to be funny, so please don't take offense to this. If you take offense to it, I don't mean any offense, I apologize in advance. But all them boys are sweet as sugar.
Is there really a show called Side Chicks of something?
I don't know.
I feel like it is, but I don't think it got any traction.
Okay, I seen that banner the other
There
day.
was a they tried to do a show called BMF Wives, and that got shut down. They were like, all right, goddamn, like somebody at the top of the BMF food chain was like, all right, goddamn it, we ain't doing this
right now.
Yeah, like.
It's a little too close. They saw that Mob Wives thing and said, oh, you know what? Hold my beer.
Wives is crazy, yo. That's wild as
That's
shit.
nuttier than hooker spit, man. Ain't no way.
Damn, that's hilarious.
Oh, real quick, something else financial that came about in the media recently I want to talk to you about before I get into these last couple of points. There was a study that came out that said the average person, average millennial, feels like they need to earn $550,000 a year to live comfortably. When you hear an egregious number like that, a number that 0.5% of the population or something like that make maybe at this point, what do you think is driving that? And when did we get so detached from reality that the average person feels like they need to make 0.5% money?
Okay, this is a layered answer. So the first part is the pharmaceutical industry is making a killing off of mental health. Every time you turn around, there's a brand new mental health drug, right? Mm-hmm. So if I tell you that you need to make this amount of money, and it's been a slow grind, you know what I'm saying? Need someone that can help me out, a baller. You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, that has to, like that stuff. It's just drip, 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 drip. Yeah. Now the rock is split in two. You understand? Yeah. So now, if you're not making that money, it's a problem. I'm 46 years old. I didn't start seeing anything close to real money until I was 43. But I was working professionally from the time I was 9. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying to you? That is absolutely unrealistic, but they don't tell you.
We always say the financial earning prime for a man doesn't even begin until you're 38.
Exactly.
So it's like, to be 24 and being like, man, I ain't making a
550 this shit is bad.
It's a failure.
Do you understand the amount of pressure that comes with that?
Yeah.
And then you feel like, again, here's the thing. We're all men, right? Mm-hmm. Never once in our entire lives when we were in our late teens, early to mid-20s, all the way up until our 30s, were we invited on a yacht by a bad bitch.
Yeah, it never happened.
Right? But there's plenty of bad bitches who have absolutely no skill set other than that skill set who get invited on yachts all the time, get flued out and then brag about it. And then they get on Kendra G's show saying they got to make $1 million a year. You got to be this tall. So you're cutting out 98% of the population.
Yeah, just with the height requirement. Just the height requirement is cooking motherfuckers. Like, before you even get to the finance.
I'm 6'1", so I ain't got nothing to say on that. But
I'm just there. I let my hair grow. I'm 6'1.5". You know what I'm saying?
Let's go for the half an inch. But that's the thing. Like, people believe that that's attainable. The other part of that is just because an athlete fucks you doesn't mean that that's the standard now. Most dudes will fuck anything. Yeah. Just keep it a buck.
A lot of our women are confusing, and this is not race specific, but just modern women in general are confusing sexual attention with relationship intention. And it's like, you could fuck a bunch of multimillionaires. Doesn't mean that any of them want to be responsible to provide for you, and steer your life in any one direction or another.
And just because they flew you out, they also fly you in. You know what I'm saying?
It's import-export.
That's it. I'm paying you to leave. Yeah. And that's what they miss out on. But if that becomes a thing, then the young guy that you pass up becomes a thing. Umar Johnson, who I never quote, but I'm going to quote today, he said the problem with the dating pool, and I'm paraphrasing, so I might get this wrong. Dr. Umar, don't come after me because we know. Okay, bro.
And Dr. Umar prop that phone up. Shout out, Doc.
In that park.
You two being, hold on, I got to get the hair right. You two being beta male simps. No, he said that a lot of women will spend their 20s going after the drug dealers, the dope boys, the thugs, the gangsters, whatever. Then they'll spend their 30s with the pretty boys, and after they bombed out and depleted, then they want to come to the guy that is now stable and just now coming into his finances. Yeah. That is literally the definition of settling.
Yeah, that's a life cycle.
So my whole thing is, anybody can say whatever they want, but for me, I'm with somebody who, ate sunflower seeds for dinner with me. Got on the bus with me while we were pregnant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, are you willing to nurture somebody who has a vision that you can see and everybody telling you crazy?
I like how you said while we were pregnant.
Yeah, no, that's my child. And that was the other thing. That's the other fucked up thing about society. I went to, except for one visit because I had to do a show that I could not miss. It was just too much bread on the table.
Yeah.
But other than that, I went to every single doctor's appointment. They constantly refer to my wife as Miss Anderson. Mm-hmm. I'm like, Mrs.
Yeah.
I'm her husband, right? They were like, when my baby was born, they said, do you mind signing the birth? Mind? I'm her father.
If you ain't doing nothing,
hey, man, I don't know if you just here, if you the driver.
If they teach cursive in public, could you sign this?
Do you know this is a pen? Nigga. So you take the shiny, my bad. You take the shiny and you just write it right there in ink. And I'm like, yo, that's how fucked up we are. Like, because they believe this narrative that we're not involved, we don't care. So yeah, man, that's where that whole situation is. They have a standard that's ridiculous in order to keep you broke and on the drug of this shit. Not to mention, reality television is very cheap to produce. Yeah. So if we keep pumping that shit out and then we eliminate any type of balance, it's a wrap.
I hate it. I say it all the time. I've given up. I'm cool.
Man, they argue with me on D.L. Hughley's page. They argue with me on, the original podcast, Smitty and D podcast about it.
I saw a clip that came on my timeline the other day. Apparently, the two girls was rumbling at the something reunion, and I was just like, yo. And the one girl, I remember seeing her on like the reality TV shit like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, how are you still?
You have career reality TV people.
Like,
you've never risen above the ranks
you
of
the vet minimum to be on reality TV is crazy.
Because like he said, it's so cheap to produce. It's like, all right, you take a scripted television show. Apple TV is producing shows that I know for sure cost $10 to $20 million an episode, like shows like Invasion and Monarch and shit like that.
$8 million an episode, and they do 25 a year.
Yep.
He's like, you can't fuck with Dick Wolf. Dog. Yeah. He got 9 shows in syndication in primetime right now.
Yeah, then you take reality TV, you got everybody on a scale between 500 to maximum 10,000 an episode. That's the max. And then you got, production crew, whatever. Mona Scott or Shawnee O'Neal are making all the money.
Okay, wait. No disrespect.
Yeah.
I said this and I'm going to stand by this because y'all don't believe water's wet. There is not a reality network or show that does not have a white person using a black person as an avatar or not having bare minimum a white person making money off of our debauchery. And I'm sick and tired of it. So I'm going to give you some names to Google. And I read. When it comes to Zeus, I need you to look up Amanda Cerny. When it comes to basketball-wise, it was created by Tom Huffman, right? Love and Hip Hop is Jim Ackerman. Married to Medicine, Matt Anderson and Nate Green. Real Housewives, Andy Cohen. Growing Up Hip Hop, John Moranis, I may be saying that wrong, and Tara Long. So you're trying to tell me that just black people just magically are just doing it to themselves? That's just ignorant of saying, well, the black people sold all these black people into slavery, and that's how we all wound up here.
Right.
You're a fucking coon. Google is your friend. And the other part of that is, whenever there's a positive reality show, it does not last. I worked with, when I was doing Rickey, one of the things that would happen, Rickey would have to take some time off, and so we would bring in the B team, and the B team was not the B team. The B team consisted of a little queen of comedy named Samore and an icon named Deion Sanders.
I love Samore so much.
So Deion Sanders and Samore were my backup squad. You understand what I'm saying to you? Primetime Deion Sanders, right? So Deion was doing a show called Deion and Pilar Primetime Love.
I remember that.
It was on the show. Like, when I tell you, they don't want positivity. Think about it. Kim Fields, Tootie, America's Black Sweetheart, was on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. She was off the next season. You want to know why?
Ain't no drama, no sensationalism. She ain't busting nobody upside the head with a shoe.
Kim went to the brunch and ate a balanced meal, ain't throw nothing. She was like, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and then you have reality. She had a starch and vegetables.
She was good. And she still looked good.
Is that a green juice? Get the fuck off the shit.
Oh, this bitch is eating kale. Oh, we doing nutrition. Oh, she got to go.
I always love Regine, man. Shout out to Kim Fields.
Listen, I was Tootie with the skates.
Yes, you a little older. Regine was it.
Well, Regine was it. Especially when did that ponytail, did the whip action.
Regine
Listen,
was
to
it,
this
man.
day. But,
straight up.
But like that's the thing. They don't want to show us positively.
We say it all the time. What the fuck is it about these reality shows that y'all can't make it through a meal? Like one meal. Go, well, let's meet up for lunch. And shit everywhere.
Okay. So there was a psychological study. I do not know the name of it. You're going to have to look at it on your own time, but I'll never forget this as long as I live. And they were talking about, this is in the 90s, early 2000s. They were talking about how Cops was so popular. Remember, Cops was the shit. And the reason everybody watched Cops was because you'll never be in some shit like that where you're taking fucking meth and shoving it up your ass to hide it from the police. You know what I'm saying? So your life is not that bad. You can still eat if you got $2.11 to get a Happy Meal back in those days. You see what I'm saying? And so they watch these shows because their life is shitty, because they're afraid to live out their fantasies. 61% of all black women, when it comes to the black community, black women are the main consumers of reality television. We do some, but we're not consuming it at that rate. 61% of black women will never, ever ask for a raise on their job in their entire career, right? So to watch Blueface go through it, and then, there's all this drama. You see a baby father getting checked, and you made a bad choice with your baby father, then guess what? You feel there's a catharsis that's happening, a need to release pent-up emotion. And that's what I think is appealing about it, because at least I'm not as fucked up as Krishan. At least I don't look like the Stewie bitch. Like, that's just what it is. You know what I mean?
He has a legendary tweet. He was like, women love when you cheat on them because it makes them feel like they don't love in hip-hop. And it's just like, yo, bro, this shit is crazy. But
thanks for having me. Can I get an orange just to go?
But it's like, the reality thing is just taking such a bad nosedive over the last couple years.
It's gotten to the point where that's all it is.
Yeah.
That's black television, is reality television.
Ain't a James Evans, ain't an Uncle Phil.
Why would you put a patriarch when you benefited for 55 years of a matriarchal society?
Yeah.
Why would you ever give an example of a patriarch, right? Yeah. Uncle Phil stepped in and stepped up. We don't want to see that either.
Right.
Because then there's some...
Because that kills the narrative about deadbeat black fathers and all that stuff.
None of that. No. But we'll take a white daddy adopting our kids and putting them in a penthouse. That's okay. We like that.
Wild out here. Last few things. I want to talk some business stuff for you and kind of bring this thing full circle and let you get out of here. We're absolutely doing a part 2, 3, 4, 8 to this.
My bad, y'all.
Yeah, no, we're going to. You're in. You're part of the team now. You know what I'm saying?
Revoke gonna be like, all right. We said in the contract. Did y'all know? We didn't put a Dave Anderson clause in this shit. Yeah, sorry, y'all. If y'all lose your revolt deal, I apologize. We'll figure something out.
I think we'll be okay. Yeah. They got bigger fish to fry right now if we keeping it above.
We didn't even listen to niggas this week.
it's bad right now.
All this it's too late.
Whenever we have business people here, I like to talk specific scenarios that we can relate to the audience. Absolutely. Give people some learning. So it's a multi-part question. I'll, throw it out there, stop, come back, we'll finish them up. What emerging industries do you see that people are either ignoring or unaware of that are primed to explode?
The virtual assistant space in the United States is going to explode in the next 2 years. Here's why. A lot of times when you have a down economy, people will take less money.
Mm-hmm. Right?
If I can take less money but have a higher quality of life, go to my kids' games, do those things, be an entrepreneur, but I don't have to put up the capital, I don't have to do all the work, and all I have to do is fill these things out and take the stuff that you don't need to do, your core competencies are not the issue here, all the stuff, I can make a business out of that. So literally, my chief admin has created a curriculum to teach people how to be virtual assistants and destroy the Filipino market, the Vietnamese market, the Indian market, because there's a space for, think about it, whenever you do customer service, you pray you find an American, or at least somebody who puts on a decent American accent, so you know what the fuck you're saying. There's something to be said culturally for that, and there's a ton of money to be made in that if you know what you're doing. That's one. The other part of that is people need to start getting into unsexy industries. Right? Yeah. Laundromats are completely unsexy, but they make fucking money.
And it's cash business.
It's a cash business. Like you never heard of a laundromat being broke, right? You can do a style suite, barber salon type of situation where if you can't rent the thing, I said this on the Ghetto Boys, everybody looked at me like it's crazy. Get as much office space as you completely can, even if you're renting the office space, because then that allows you to be in higher rent districts. You can do more things. You can then rent that out. You need to start building partnerships with the beauty schools, the beauty salons. Also, if you're sending your kid to be a doctor, have them find a couple of other kids. Now, again, what I'm trying to do is give you things that are going to emerge. These boutique, more communal, more personal touch things are going to start to come back because everything is so fucking automated, bleached out, homogenized that we're missing those qualities. There's a book called The Personal Touch by Terry Williams, wrote it in like 1997. That book changed my life.
Yeah.
Guess you go get it.
Shit,
Black
let's be
women
real
in New
here.
York.
Look at the last couple of years of how urgent cares took over as opposed to going to emergency room.
Because who the fuck wants to pay $500 to go in an ambulance and you have not gotten healed yet?
Nigga.
So, and then finally, the biggest thing I can tell you, and I'm going to give you this one for free, full stop. There is a group of boomers who are getting old. My mother is a boomer. She's almost 78, and literally 3 times out of the month she calls me because she turns on the audio description on her television and she don't know how to turn it off. There is a lot of money in teaching them how to set up their printer. There's a lot of money in teaching them how to walk through things. There's a lot of money in teaching them how to set up their social media. If they like to make cards and flyers or needlepoint or whatever, there's a lot of money in setting up their sites. So start creating templates and doing things like that. Those are emerging things that you can do that do not require a lot of money. Also, Etsy is starting to become overcrowded. People need to start converging and collaborating together and getting on their own apps and creating more marketplaces like, Black Buyers Club and all that type of stuff. So those are the things I think are coming.
What do you think about like the healthcare spaces? That kind of just, you talking about people getting older made me think about this. What do you think about like healthcare spaces like home healthcare agencies, drug rehabilitation centers, medical delivery services, stuff like that? I know they typically have a high amount of capital and regulation in order to be able to get in. But what do you think about those the healthcare space, period, regardless of the discipline within it?
Right. I don't like a lot of red tape.
Got
Especially
it.
when I'm trying to come up.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I'm breathing a little bit, but if I got to, the average person isn't going to go through it.
Right.
There's somebody who will, but we want to start looking at what we can actually do. And the things that we can actually do are create opportunities to support those visions. So I have a client named Anissa Gettin who I got to $1 million in short of about 2 years.
Dope.
Right?
Dope.
She does credit. She's got her own phenomenal podcast. She has a nurse's aid curriculum that is being used. She also helps people get credit and do all this. She's amazing. The thing of it is, one of her best plays was creating scrubs for nurses' aides that could help them, that medical, like that's the thing. What are the supplies look like? How can you get into that, right? How can you wholesale that? How can you create that? How can you tie into somebody else's chain and bring those products here and then sell those products at a profit? Simple.
Right.
Like those are the things we need to start doing. Practical stuff that's not sexy, that you can't adjust your angles and put a filter on Instagram, but will make you money.
Yeah. Second part to my question.
Sure.
If someone had $10,000 to invest in a business, where should they place that money, and what is the strategy or approach to scale it?
Cool. So here's the thing, and people will argue with me about this, and they'll say, "Oh, that's just a buzzword answer." No, it's not. The best investment you can ever make is in yourself. Here's what I mean by that. People do not buy products and services. People buy people and stories.
Absolutely.
People do not come to the Realest podcast ever because it's the Realest podcast ever. They like Matt and they like Chad. They like how y'all act. They like how y'all real. They like how y'all don't give a fuck. It's going to be a sandwich before the show is over. People buy into that. Who's the greatest Philadelphia sports figure that everybody in the world knows?
Greatest Philadelphia sports figure?
Correct.
Actual sports figure?
No.
Oh.
I said sports figure. I didn't put
Rocky.
Why?
Because he's the white Shylock from 9th and March. But that's a whole nother.
No, I'm going to tell you, that's part of it. But the real part of it is you didn't see the highlight reel. You saw the whole fucking journey. People
From
are
him picking
so
up that
busy.
money on 11th and Jump.
Listen,
him rumbling the world championship.
You cannot make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
Yeah.
And the other part of that is you also got to see the Apollo Creed story and understand that just because you're the champion, do you have the respect of your wife? Do your kids get to see you? Like, what was Apollo Creed saying the whole time? Kids, don't be like me. Be a thinker, not a stinker. Start a business. Go be an accountant. Go do something better with your life. I fight with these, so you don't have to. There's dichotomy there. The other part of that is if I can follow your journey, I believe in you. Disney is a guy who couldn't stop smoking. He's also allegedly a card-carrying racist. He ain't here, but my kid knows who Disney is.
Right.
Because we bought the story. We didn't buy the man. It's not about the mouse because it was about the mouse. Explain why we got Spider-Man. Explain why we got Darth Vader. Why we got all these other properties.
Yeah.
because the foundation is important. So you invest in yourself. Now, in a practical way, how can you do that where it makes sense? Because everybody says, well, I want to be an influencer. Cool, no problem. Here's what you do. You take your money, right? You look like somebody that somebody would want to either be like or fuck. Let's keep it a buck, right? Yeah. So that means you got to get your body together, go work out, eat, diet, change, whatever you got to do that. Then the other part is, who are you talking to? Who are you? What do you have? Why should I care? And then you niche down to that market. There are 8.4 billion people on the planet. You don't need to speak to all of them. You couldn't even handle 1/10% of all of them. Beyonce can't. You speak to that niche market and you show them that you are the person they need to follow. And you show up every single day, whether people are there or not. And you have to be consistent. And then the other part of that is say something. Be human. Fuck up. Say an It's okay. Nobody expects you to be Barbara fucking Walters. She ain't even here no more. I need you to be who you are because who you are matters. I am a dyslexic kid with a fucking stutter who speaks for a living. Don't tell me what's impossible. Start opening your minds up to possibilities and then double down on it. Make your claim. Stand 10 toes down on something. You can say whatever the fuck you want to say about Charleston White, but he's right. And it's been documented. That man did go and speak with Congress people. That man did go and stand in Dallas and start talking about racial issues. And he did wear a bow tie and nobody paid any attention. But when he starts talking greasy, now it's a problem. Now all of a sudden y'all got all these fucking sensibilities. Y'all call me the business bully because I hold you accountable, and accountability to you 17th place trophy Gen Z millennial assholes who cannot understand that this requires work is the problem. I'm not the problem. I'm okay. You are the problem because you're arguing with me on Instagram in your cubicle and hoping your boss doesn't see you because you won't hang your nuts out there because you're afraid. So if you really want to do this, be consistent, stop worrying about what everybody thinks of you, and double down on who you are, because the truth of the matter is people will tell you. My own wife will tell you I'm an asshole. My kids will tell you I'm an asshole. But they'll tell you that I love really hard. They will tell you that when I'm not working, I spend a lot of time in quiet, that I have horrible stage fright and anxiety, and I've been speaking professionally since 1991. But it's what I'm called to do, and I'm consistent. Consistency will always beat talent when talent isn't consistent. If you do that, you will win. Then, and this one is important, and I want to tell y'all this in case y'all don't understand this, and I think that you do because we're here. Yeah. But a lot of people in the podcast space, in the YouTube space, you YouTubian beta male simp manginas, shout out to the doc, worry about getting monetization on YouTube and then getting demonetized and blah, blah, blah. I don't give a fuck if I ever make $1 on YouTube because I know how to go out and sell what I have. I got this many audience. This audience is this demographic. Do you want it or not? That's it. Yeah. Sell, because nobody will negotiate your worth for you. Because if YouTube is paying you $10,000 a month for 1 million views, I don't know if you know this, numbnuts, but they're making a shit ton of money in order to pay you that $10,000.
Yeah, exactly.
What would you pay yourself? What would you go out and demand of yourself? If you got the audience, you can do anything.
I want to start to land a plane here. Yeah. I want to do rapid fire,
Let's go.
And I'm going to throw some names, some companies, different stuff at you. Tell me the first thing that comes to mind. You can feel free to elaborate on them if you want to, or you can just leave it where it is. Just say what you got to say. Cool. First name, Gary V.
Gary is great. I wouldn't be here in this space if it wasn't for Gary's intervention, because when a lot of people who look like me wouldn't give me a shot because they were afraid of me, Gary gave me his platform. Gary sat down with me, did my podcast in his office, right? Helped me with situations. I started a supplemental educational thing, went to black people and was like, I want to do this for black boys. They was like, what about black girls? I'm like, yo, Beverly Bond is doing Black Girls Rock. I need something for black boys because there's things that are missing. And Gary was like, well, how far away are you? I was like, I'm short 15,000. He was like, write him a check. I had that check the next day after a 45-minute conversation. Yeah. Right? And he never once told me what parameters were. There was no contract. There was no nothing.
No red tape.
No red tape, no nothing. He said, this is my accountant. Email him this. He was like, give me your bank information. Money was there. Boom, done. No questions asked. Right? The other part of that was, he was like, when your next book comes out, I'm going to put 100 copies in my lobby. He showed up. You say whatever the fuck you want about it, and that's not saying that this, that, and the third, and y'all can say, oh, this, that, and the third, but that $15,000 for those boys meant a whole lot. I'm way beyond that now. That was 2017.
Yeah.
If you think that $15,000 is around in 2024, you are nuttier than Kardashian mouth at All-Star Weekend. But yeah, he's phenomenal. I'll never have anything bad to say about Gary Vee. I love that man.
Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone is a racist asshole. Grant Cardone literally got every black influencer he could together to try and act like he's cool. He found all the run the play niggas, all the I drink flat tummy tea niggas, and I'm selling y'all this 1,000 family shit, and it's really diarrhea tea that's dehydrating you. And ask me how I know, because I lost 312 pounds, and I know a hustle when I see one. The other part of that man got on the show with Patrick Bet-David and said, I just want to be able to say the N-word. I need to find some black people who will make that okay. So I can say it now. And Patrick Bet-David is not black. I think he's Israeli, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah.
Grant Cardone literally said he understands what it means to be struggling more than any black person he's ever known. He said that. I mean, I put it on. It's on tape. Like,
Because
y'all
he
can
came
look on,
from some small town in
and his daddy was
Louisiana
a
or
drunk.
whatever. Yeah.
Join the fucking club, Grant. The other part of that is, yeah, you can say you turned $1 million business in 90 days, but we all know it was a reality show. We all know that they saw you with a bunch of cameras, and they all know that these people who put you up allowed you the opportunity to do that and switch these things up. Also, you can go get Steve and Kevin and whoever the fuck else you want. The truth of the matter is, homeboy, you are a leech on my people. You are a culture vulture. I would rather sit down and have lunch, dinner, drinks, and a group massage with Leor Cohen before I ever sat down with Grant Cardone. Until such time as he apologizes to my people for exploiting them, fuck Grant Cardone.
Dr. Umar.
I love Dr. Umar, but the problem with Dr. Umar is I feel like he thinks that he's got this, and I think he's in over his head. Do me a favor. Name me one person who has signed on to be a teacher at his school.
I don't know.
We cannot do it.
Okay, the other part of that is whenever there's a certain level of transparency, and the reason I donate to Dr. Umar is so I can have a voice. That way, when I talk politically, I can say what I need to say. I know for a fact my attorney went and saw him, and my attorney is an attractive young lady, and instead of finding out how he could be helped from people who wanted to help him, he was asking her if she could be in the fashion show where he married 2 women. And I told her, I said, yo, if you do that, you'll be all over the blogs and it'll be a fucking nightmare. Nobody will take you seriously as an attorney. And sure enough, she said no. And then them 2 women, they went, Dr. Umar married 2 women at the block party.
Yeah.
He thinks he is above criticism, and he is not. The other part of that is that man, when it comes to IEPs and understanding special needs and understanding the hustle they put on black people, is second to none. As a businessman, I have no evidence other than what I have seen and what I have been able to research to think that that man is in over his head and he has denied help. And I think it's great. My good friend Charlemagne believes in the Great Pumpkin School of things for black people to do and learn how to read and do other things too. I know that there's a building that exists, but I'm not sure about the date. Also, if you're having all of this trouble when it comes to the financial end of it, you've been raising money since at least 2010 because you said you were going to open a school in 2013 and you're trying to get St. Paul or Paul Quinn College or whatever the hell it was. And that became an issue. There was a kid outside of Atlanta named King Randall, who is younger than my oldest child. My oldest child is 24. He literally Tony Starked the school with a box of fucking scraps. You've had millions in donations. You just got the HVAC in. When is the school opening? And if it opens and you're having financial trouble, and this school, because he said in the very first post that, what was it? Oh, everybody, you're going to have to pay to attend this school for boys. Why aren't you taking registration fees that could then be applied
to help speed up the onboarding of getting to school over?
Exactly. And if you're not doing that, you have to explain why. You don't have to, because you won't, but that's a question that should legitimately be asked. I want this school to be a thing because I am sick of how they're being treated. I didn't like how they treated my daughter in the Philadelphia public school system. I have a lot of issues with the Philadelphia public school system, but I am in a position of power when I can pull my kid out and have her homeschooled. Most people cannot do that because most people have to work to pay bills, right? So I want this school to work. But my whole thing is, why are you trying to do it alone? Why aren't you being transparent about these things? Why aren't you telling people this is where the money went, this is where I fucked up? Who's the accountant? Does anybody know? Have you met them? No. No. But anytime somebody asks a question, the same way Tupac would ask questions of Suge Knight, they give Pac $50,000 and a Corvette or convertible, whatever the fuck it was. God rest Pac's soul. But the thing of it is, anytime somebody asks a question, we're having a block party or we're going to speak. If you're the world's most renowned, sought-after black speaker, then why aren't you sacrificing some of that money to fund the school yourself? Because you get it all back as a tax write-off if you're paying taxes at all. I don't know his tax situation, so I can't speak to it. So my issue is that I think he might be in over his head. He does not know how to say so. And then the other part of that is I think he's trying to make things happen. For example, we all know Dr. Umar's stance on how people get down romantically, and you shouldn't, in his mind as a black man, he doesn't respect you, quote unquote, if I'm getting that wrong.
If you're in an interracial relationship.
If you're in an interracial relationship. So there's a guy named Dan and another guy named Dave who did a podcast in Fayetteville, North Carolina with Dr. Umar, and after said podcast, Dr. Umar, according to Dan and Dave, asked them to teach military science at his school. Well, the funny thing about Dan and Dave, not to be confused with me, is that Dan and Dave are married and have procreated with white women. But I thought you was not. But you're going to have these people be the people to teach military science to our boys when you say that you can't trust somebody who's sleeping with the enemy. Either you're not well researched, you're in over your head, or you're talking out of both sides of your neck. Either way, there's some questions there. But I want him to win. I love what he's trying to do, at least what I think he's trying to do. I'm not going to say he's a scam. I'm going to say that it is a little bit on the... Like, if somebody can clear this up for me, other than telling me the school is coming, and tell me who the administrations are, what the faculty is, what the curriculum is. Have you seen it?
No.
Anybody in this room?
We were invited to the opening. It was supposed to have been February. It's about to be February again, but yeah.
Can you let me know how it goes? I want him to win, but I just And then the other part of that is, and I'm not trying to be funny, but the best way to keep a grip going is postponing the date.
DJ Envy.
I have met DJ Envy once in my life. I am friends with Charlamagne, right? I met DJ Envy one time. I knew Clue because I produced Clue's syndicated weekend show, Desert Storm Radio. I knew of Envy. I've been on the Breakfast Club 4 or 5 times, something crazy like that. Envy was always on vacation whenever I was there. So it was a running joke, like, why is Envy running from me? Here's what I know. I know that it's possible to be a part of something and not know that something bad is going on. I also know that ignorance is not a valid excuse. Do I think he could be a victim? Absolutely. Do I think he's some type of mastermind who needs that type of headache? Why are you going to ruin your bag for a bag that could be, because the real estate has always been a fluctuating type of situation.
Yes, it's cyclical.
It's cyclical. So why would you ruin your bag for this shit? I think he probably went into it with the best of intentions. I think Caesar's guilty as fuck. I think DJ Envy at this point is collateral damage because he's the name you know. He's the face on the package. He's Lady fucking Eloise. And I think until such time as DJ Envy is brought up on federal charges, everybody needs to shut the fuck up about it. But I do think if, in fact, people got involved because they trusted his endorsement of said person, then he is responsible by proxy. And however people choose to reconcile that is between DJ Envy and those people.
Maybe civil, it may be criminal, but it's something there. My thoughts on it is there's a quote from Sam Rothstein in the movie Casino where it says either you're too dumb to recognize what's going on or you're in on it. Either way, I can't deal with this. And so it's like either you're too dumb to recognize what was happening right next door to you because their offices are adjoined. They're right next door to each other, or you're in on it. Either way, that's a problem.
And there's tapes where he's been paid and he's gotten envelopes and things of that nature. Yeah. I'm going to tell you how good God is. The one time I did the Breakfast Club and Envy was there, we were talking afterwards. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, we're going to do some real estate joints in Philly. I'm like, let me know because I can talk business, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm like, this is a good opportunity, right? Yeah. Sometimes man's rejection is God's protection. Because I don't do those scandal shit. You can't say that about me. I like to sleep at night. You know what I'm saying? No.
Yeah, for sure. Tony Robbins.
Icon. Tony Robbins understands things that I've been trying to get black businesses to understand. Y'all have 17 websites, 37 different social media accounts, and you're one person. Tony Robbins is the blueprint for when I say people don't buy products and services, they buy people and stories. Whether it's Unleash the Power Within, whether it's his couples counseling, whether it's his business workshops, whether it's his financial workshops, they're all under TonyRobbins.com, and there's a tab for every fucking thing. Y'all have a business and a personal account like you're a fucking Jackson or a Braxton or a Gates. How are you that important? This man can stand on stage for 12 hours and get people to walk on hot coals, and you won't go out here and believe in your dreams. Tony Robbins basically invented the infomercial and will never get credit for it because he was buying time overnight when nobody was doing that. And it's like, what the fuck? Yeah, we'll give it to you. Right. Because there was a time, I know kids, you don't know this, there was a time when television went off and the last thing you heard was the national anthem, then there was the American flag, and then they put up the color blocks. And that was it.
Paul Mooney was like, remember when TV used to go off? Good night. Good night.
Yeah, you gonna take your ass to bed because you ain't sleeping through this beat.
You ain't sleeping through this beat.
Straight said good night. TV was done. That's so funny.
It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? Yeah. That was our GPS.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I give honor and respect to that man for that. I think he's brilliant.
Warren Buffett.
You can't have sex with 9 women and expect to make a baby in a month. That's a Warren Buffett quote. Warren Buffett also made $30 million in a year after he acquired Coke by changing the cost of an 8-ounce serving of Coke by 1 penny.
Damn.
Warren Buffett still lives in his childhood home. Warren Buffett eats a McDonald's breakfast every day. See, he's doing shit that y'all don't want to do because y'all
Does he
lost.
still drive the Cadillac? Is that a thing?
I'm pretty sure he
The
does.
Sedan DeVille.
That's the thing. We don't want to do that because we want to showboat for people. Like
They can make 100,000, go spend 185.
Right. And then everybody called him an old, bitter old man when he said, listen, the bottom of this Bitcoin thing is going to drop out because there's nothing backing it. Y'all just thought he was an old traditionalist, but he's Warren fucking Buffett. And sometimes I don't give a damn if you white, black, red, or green. When billionaires are in the room talking,
Sit back and shut the
shut
fuck up.
the fuck up. I'm not the business bully then. I am David Stephen Anderson taking motherfucking copious notes, and I suggest you do the same.
Final one. Sexy Red.
Sexy Red's been rapping for the better part of a decade. All of a sudden, she just makes a hit. Or,
Several hits, actually.
you know, I mean, her pussy's pink and her booty hole's brown, and I don't know all the
Yeah.
songs. I think Sexy Red is just a continuation on how far we can take it. And I don't think it's Sexy Red's fault, just like I don't think it's Doja Cat's fault, just like I don't think it's Lil Nas X's fault. But the thing of it is, it goes back to that shit in that crystal glass with the whipped cream and the cherry on top. Y'all will take that and run with it because you have no self-respect. There's no dressing for dinner. There's no none of that. And for anybody says I'm on respectability politics, other than me hosting a show or giving a speech or just because I fucking don't look like a goddamn blimp any fucking more, you won't see me in a suit. And by the way, how many respectable people do you know have respectability politics and have a mohawk that's 4 inches high? So miss me with that. I'm more about self-respect for us, and that in and of itself, and that whole ilk has no self-respect. And when there's no checks and balances, and your father or your daddy or whatever you consider the male parental unit, sperming person, I don't know what we call them. That keeps fucking changing too.
Apparently, there's no such thing as a man or a woman. That's a whole nother.
People are menstruating people. I can't keep up. And y'all have bought into this shit.
Cisgendered. It's a lot.
Don't ever call me sis. I'm your brother. I ain't your sis. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've bought into everybody else's crazy, and we don't make people buy into our crazy. We don't let people buy into our standards. They told Bill Cosby it was unrealistic to have a doctor, OBGYN, work out of his home and have a stable marriage to a lawyer who's on a partner track, a corporate lawyer who's on a partner track. Why don't you make her a nurse, and why don't you be a garbage man? And he said no, and then they turned around, 12 years later and made rock and gave it to Charles Dutton. Sometimes when you stand up for things, they sit you down.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. When it comes to Sexy Red and people of her ilk, it's a certain level of self-respect. Do what you want to, that's fine. But when you're influencing these babies the way you are, and people are just letting it go, I got a problem with that.
Listen, man, it's been an amazing conversation. Absolutely appreciate it. Like I said, I want to have you back again and again and again and again and again. I think you have a lot of insight.
Shout out to the 300 people who are going to watch this.
It's going to be more than that. It's going to be more than that.
Let's set the bar real low.
It's going to be more than that. Final question, man. What does the future hold for Dave Anderson, the business book?
Oh, man. I am not unlike a shiny suit wearing guy, I'm taking a day-to-day step back from a lot of my business.
Yeah.
And I'm focusing on three things. My management company, right? From a business perspective.
Yeah.
I'm focused on my management company. I'm focusing on writing and speaking because I think being on a stage and getting this message out is extremely important.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'm focusing on is the only way to have real power is to make real money. I'm taking 1,000 people over the course of 10 years, and I'm taking them to $1 million come hell or high water. Listen, just like Dr. Umar, you have to pay something. But the thing of it is, I'm going to take you to $1 million, or I'm going to die. That's it. My team will work with you until we get you to $1 million. Now there's some qualifications with that, but I'm taking 1,000 people over the next 10 years to $1 million. That means that's $1 billion in black capital running around. That means that we can employ more black people. Like my friend Banner says, if we have us, we don't need them. And y'all could talk about how impossible it is. Then you sit down and watch me work. That's it. That is my goal. I'm going to speak more. I'm going to step back from my business. I'm going to concentrate on management. I'm going to concentrate on writing and speaking. I'm going to write more books. I'm even on the course for these 1,000 people. My team, because I have a team of writers, not just AI. And I don't mean Alan but I have a team of writers who are going to help you write your first bestseller.
Awesome.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to give you everything that has gotten me here. I'm not holding anything back because you have to believe that it's possible. And then it gets a little easier for the next generation and the generation after that. And then we start living again. Because right now we are scratching and surviving, and it ain't good times. Yeah. So that's what I'm on. I hope people will join me on that journey. You can go to thebusinessbully.com/without paid ads to hop on my calendar, talk to me and my team. But
you might need to talk to you.
Hey, man, listen, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told Willie D and Scarface. There's only 2 requirements for me, the check and the will. The check is easy.
Yeah.
The will is hard because I'm an asshole. I am going to make you uncomfortable. I'm going to say, yeah, that was cool, but could you do it like this? Why do your videos look like that? Do we need, like, there's always...
You sound like me.
Bro, I'm worse. I am you turned up and the knob broke off. You understand what I'm saying? Because we have to... Bro, my first radio gig, when I got hired, they didn't know I was black because my name is David Anderson. Right. You know what I mean? They didn't know. And I speak the King's English. I put ing on the ends of my words. And so my mother comes in with me. And they're like, can we help you? And I'm like, well, my son's here. It's his first day at work. Who's your son? We don't have... Hi, I'm David Anderson. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. There's that. So you have to run faster, jump higher, spit farther than other people. And so there's a standard of excellence, which I call the Dave Anderson standard of excellence, which is crazy. So I only hold you to what you say you want. And if what you said you want was to be the top podcast, the fuck is you crying right now? Like, why is you complaining? Like, this is what you said you wanted. Mm-hmm. This is what it takes to get here. Have you gotten there yet? No. I'm telling you, this is what it takes.
You ain't gotten there yet. We got more work to do.
That's it. So if we're not there, we're going to do this work. You're going to suck it up, Buttercup, and you're going to call me all types of assholes, but you're going to do the work. That's just what it is. And I ain't talking walking to Juniors for cheesecake either. I'm talking about consistency, being places that most people don't think you can be.
Yeah, I'll drive up there.
Walking. And I mean, it wasn't no DoorDash.
I'm parked right out front. I'm on myself. All right,
strawberry cheesecake. Yeah, that's the thing,
real.
Man.
Nah, man, we appreciate you, man, coming and talking this shit with us.
You are, like I said, a breadth of knowledge, a dynamic speaker. Thank you, man. Impactful, nuance, accountability, conversation, everything that we talk about on this show on on a constant basis. So it was absolutely important and vital for us to have this conversation. And I promise y'all we will have follow-ups. Whether we get canceled or not, we shall determine that at a later date. But, I'm down to push the boundaries.
Listen, I'm so happy I got out so much because y'all not having me back. I'm telling you right now, you not ready for this. First of all, Umar already know what I said. He already... You let that YouTubian beta male simp manjana on this show? What is wrong with you, brothers? That's white supremacy. No, I'm playing. I don't know if Umar even know who the fuck I am. I'm serious stage with Umar.
We having Umar back soon. That's Umar's on tour right now, man. A lot of people want to talk to Umar.
He's the most requested speaker.
Yes, hey, bar none. Bar none. We had him on
our. This man is brilliant. I'm like, don't play in his face like he's not brilliant. You can be brilliant and bad at organization. But I got a team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think the 3 most debilitating words in the English language for a black man trying to build something for black people is, I got this. The 3 most empowering words are "I need help."
Right.
And that's all he got to say.
Yeah.
And he would have as much help as he wanted, but I don't think he wants it.
You know what I think in general, and this is maybe not specific to him, but just
Right.
a general thought, and we can leave on this.
Yes.
Help comes with scrutiny.
So,
A lot of people don't want to be scrutinized. A lot of people don't want to be that transparent to have to open up and, show the numbers. You know the reason why the NIL got passed overnight? Because the NCAA didn't want to face the scrutiny of opening their books and showing that they make $200 trillion a year or whatever the fuck the number is. So the lesser of two evils, it was like, hey,
let them make some money.
Let them, let these niggas sell their names and their fucking
look.
jerseys and air conditioners and shit. We don't give a fuck. Like, we not opening these books.
Some of that peak.
Yeah, like, I don't care if he put his face on the goddamn carburetor. Like, well, let him do whatever he wants. It's his image. Fuck that. Like, because they didn't want the scrutiny. They didn't want to open their books. Help comes with scrutiny, and a lot of people are afraid of that shit.
hey man, listen, you can be afraid all you want to, but either way you slice it, they gonna scrutinize you one way or the other.
And you're still gonna need help at the end.
You're still gonna need help, so you might as well take it. Like, pride comes before the fall.
Yeah, every time.
But I'm honored. Y'all don't know how much I've been looking forward to. It's been months, y'all. Right? Part of it's my fault. I'm a little busy. They a lot busy. They got that revolt check. I know it's going to be bad, y'all. I know it's going to be bad, but I swear to God, anytime I get an opportunity to speak to people I absolutely love and respect and admire, it's a joy. It's not.
Nah, man, we appreciate it. We humble
Rep your
because.
socials, so there you go.
Oh yeah, wait.
Yeah.
Everything is at the Business Bully except for X, Twitter, whatever Elon's calling it this week. That's DA Business Bully, but everything else is the Business Bully, and you can.
You with colloquialisms for X. The business.
DA. Dave Anderson.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because I couldn't get the.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Somebody in fucking Alaska or something probably got that joint just
too many
hoarding it.
characters.
Oh, it's too many characters.
It's too many characters. I own the term Business Bully like I own the term the goat herder. Right? So you can't use that shit without me. And if you think the lawsuit's not coming, I'm waiting for you to get big enough. Then I'm going to tear your ass up. This is what it is. But no, this is an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming, man.
Thank you for the OJ. Man, thanks for this wonderful place. That fried
French toast, right? It's hitting,
French
right?
toast.
That's one of our go-tos.
I
We eat that shit every week.
Every week.
I have a small stomach, but the 3 bites I had were spectacular.
Saw the little blueberries and all
Yeah,
that.
I ate the ice cream because they put like a little dollop of ice cream. Like, to me, that's like a whole fucking tub. It's like a stomach. But it's all good.
Yeah, you got anything else you want to do?
I got nothing, man. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We will be back again and again and again every Monday and Thursday/Friday.
Yeah.
We come and we do this podcast thing with an array of dynamic people, social commentators, current events, all of this different stuff. Chad, Matt, Big Dan's falling asleep. We out of here, man. The realest podcast ever. The Business Bully, Dave Anderson.
We out.